The studio doors are locked. This is a closed set. Will Murray.
I got angrier because I'm like, this is so ridiculous.
Jason Kaplan.
Look at me. I am so lucky I have a woman who sleeps in the same bed with me.
Their world.
The relationship has deteriorated. No.
Their life.
What is going on around here?
And the Howard Stern Back Office.
You were screaming and fighting and being drunk? No.
This is Back Office Radio with Will and Jason. Call 888-STERN-101.
I think no one cares about their show. Yeah, I think you did one show. I think that's enough.
Hello and welcome to the second episode of Back Office Radio. No, one was not enough, Lisa.
Somebody cared.
Somebody cared. Tim cared. Howard cared. The audience cared. I got such great tweets about this show. Will Murray, I'm talking to. I am Jason Kaplan. Will,
Hello.
Hello. You texted me after last week's show, and he said, wow, I've never been involved with something that has so much positive response.
Yeah, it's funny. All the other shows I produced, people love to trash them, and this is great. This is great. I didn't know that people actually say positive things about your shows.
When you say people, you mean John Hine, like the trash your shows.
Well, John Hine might trash my show, yeah.
Some of the tweets that came in are very positive, and I will read some of those later in the show. We have a new feature where you can leave us a voicemail, and I'll give out the number to that. But I think the idea for the voicemail, if you want to say that we're doing a good job, that's nice. But I think we should use the voicemail for the audience to really talk to us specifically and just kind of just say what they really feel of me or really feel of you and kind of be nasty about it.
There are a lot of people out there that have strong feelings for Jason Kaplan, and we want to hear those.
Yeah.
So please share.
Share the phone number.
Oh, wait, look, Scott the engineer leaving.
Whoa,
Everything's under control
12:01.
here. I like this. We're in the Black Cloud Diner, by the way.
Just
That's
trying
where
to
we're
make sure you
broadcasting
guys
from.
are okay. I heard there was a problem last week. And
I'm surprised because I heard a lot of people didn't hear. I think 12 o'clock happened and no show went out.
well, what can you do?
I was almost, buried here under an avalanche of moving boxes before Scott left.
Your office
We're
is so
safe.
Your office is so clean, but then we went to go close the door and all these cardboard boxes fell.
Well, we cleaned up for you, and it's nice and sanitary, and I hope you do a great show. The only people that don't like the show are the people that you work with, just to let you know.
Well, that's
you,
okay.
you didn't like it?
Why would I like it?
I don't know. Did you think it was interesting?
Yeah, no.
Scott, do you know how to talk into a microphone? You're an engineer.
Really? You are fantastic.
I don't have any headphones on, that's all.
Or hair.
Again, you're an engineer.
I'm an engineer. I don't have any headphones on.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you for cleaning up the studio. It is a lot cleaner in here, and we will be talking about what happened in this studio last week and what happened between you and Tim on the air later in the show.
Did something happen?
Something happened. In fact, coming up on today's
Love
Back
that
Office,
wit.
coming up on today's Back Office Radio, we'll be hitting douche of the week. We got new page 69s. We have a Fat Guy Minute. We have the most underreported Howard 100 news story of the week. And of course, we have a new segment, Back Office Spotlight. We are shining the spotlight this week on Steve Brandano.
Yeah, this is why I love this show. Nobody really cares about Steve. No one hears about Steve on the air, but this kid is a maniac and nobody knows about it. So, you will be known on this show after this.
Absolutely.
Infamous Steve.
Infamous Steve Brandano. He is somebody we love. Call in. We want to hear from you. Your nominations for douche of the week. Your thoughts about our show. Your thoughts about everything. Give us a call. And Will, just real quick before we get into the state of the office, right after the show last week, a huge fight broke out about this show.
It was awesome.
It was insanely awesome, and it had nothing to do with me or you or anything we said on the air.
That's true. That's true. One of our co-hosts, I don't know what he is. He was assistant board op last week, and he's a no-show this week.
Oh, I thought he was here because this is the same contribution he gave.
Exactly. Yeah. Teddy Microphone. He is,
Teddy.
I think, down in Austin, Texas this weekend, or today at least, for a concert, doing more, I don't know, having fun, whatever you do.
Right. So after the show ended, there was a literal screaming
match.
Get the fuck out of the studio. Fuck you. And it was between Teddy Microphone and our producer, Jim McClure.
The quote that stood out to me was, "You never wanted me on the air, Jim. You don't want me to be a star." I think that's what he said.
Now, in all fairness to Teddy, he might still have been high from whatever else he was on the night before that show.
I'm not saying he uses drugs. He was having fun.
He was having fun.
Very legal fun.
Yeah, some legal in some places. Can you hold on a second? JD, I said large coffee. Dude.
No, we're going to get into that. Wait.
Large, brother.
Large coffee.
All right, thank you, JD. Sorry, it's my assistant, JD Harmeyer, dropping off my coffee. So the big fight, Teddy and Jim are fine. It was a misunderstanding. Jim, is everything okay?
Everything is fine.
What happened? Real quick, sum it up.
It was a little stressful during the show last week. We had some well-publicized technical issues.
Yeah. It was bad.
And it was definitely a little stressful. And in the middle of the show, I got some bad news in my personal life, dealing with some stuff at home, and which kind of put me over the edge a little bit. So at the end of the show, we everything just kind of blew up. That's all.
Yeah, well, it was
good now.
It was a blow up. From my perspective, Teddy felt disrespected for something Jim said at the beginning of the show. It ended up being a misunderstanding. But the most interesting part was that Teddy has this history in his head with Jim where he doesn't think Jim wants him to succeed in life or something, and I don't understand that.
I think Teddy doesn't want him to succeed in life.
Teddy and I have been very, very close. We've worked together even before the Stern Show, so we've known each other now for almost 8 years, and it was one of those things I think that we needed to talk about, and I had no idea, and unfortunately it took a shouting match for it to happen, but it all worked out fine.
And that's what I say. Just get that shit out there in the open and everything.
It's just funny that, like, we wanted Teddy to be a part of the show. We basically recruited him to come here. Yeah. And even for that, he can't show up here today.
Are we going to
be got plans going to a concert or whatever it is.
I know we want to get him on the phone. Has anyone ever been able to get in touch with him to find out if that's
Have you
going
tried,
to happen?
Jimmy?
I'll give him a shot in a little bit.
Thanks. So call into Back Office Radio 888 Stern 101. Krista from Colorado, you have an early nominee for Douche of the Week.
It happens to be you, Jason.
What?
It's one thing when you are Employee of the Month, Employee of the Year, whatever badge you want that Howard wants to give you or you want to give yourself, but you don't have to crow about it. It's great that you do a good job, but allow that work to speak for itself.
Well, Krista, if I can respond to you, I believe I did, and I'm sure I have a feeling Will's going to be bringing this up later in the show. But
what makes you think that, Jason?
Because he's very secretive about his Douche of the Week. I sat there and let Howard praise me. I didn't throw it in anyone's face. I just stood there and took it. In my opinion,
you didn't throw it in anyone's face? Maybe on the air. I think that's fair to say.
On the air.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is Back Office Radio.
If printing up the Employee of the Month banner that the great at Jason Cap fan club made for me on Twitter and putting it in the office, it's throwing it in someone's face. Slightly. Listen, I can't throw. I have horrible aim. Pete in New York, you have a different nominee for Douche of the Week.
Yep, it's JD, and as a matter of fact, he should be the default Douche of the Week every week just on principle.
I like that. We have a default Douche of the Week?
No. Why? What did he do?
He can't express a coherent thought.
Yep.
He can't speak, and he's gotten a little too big for his britches. And Jason...
Well, he's eating a lot. What do you want?
His britches, in all fairness to JD, his britches cannot keep up with him.
Yeah, that's true. But, he doesn't realize who's buttering his bread.
I agree with you 100%, Pete.
I think he's buttering his bread. I'm going to do this all day. Thank you, folks.
All right, well, I think there's going to be a lot more JD and Jason. In fact, I believe it's our very first roundup on State of the Office. Should we just jump into this?
Let's do it, baby.
Let's do it, Al.
State of the Office.
All right, so story number one is going to be, let's just jump right to the Jason and JD. Let's get a little quick recap of what happened this past week to bring us up to the present.
It's not a great time to be JD. A week after Howard named Jason his Employee of the Month, he again sided with Jason in his feud with JD this week, going as far as making Jason JD's boss.
I'm going to put you in charge of JD.
Beautiful.
You're his direct boss.
Beautiful.
Right?
Oh, my God.
Yeah. After making JD apologize to Jason, JD announced he's freezing Jason out.
Well, now you're making me unfreeze Jason?
Yep.
That's so funny.
He didn't deserve the freeze out.
Should JD get over his feelings about Jason? Has Howard created an ego monster by praising Jason? What does the Office think?
Well, Will, you're the Office. What do you think?
I don't think he created an ego monster. I think he just encouraged the already existing ego monster.
Okay.
What was the other question we had in there?
There was 40 questions, I think, in that intro. Well, whose side is JD right or am I right? Let's just break that down.
Technically, you are right.
Thank you.
But I think the way that you approach things sometimes can be seen as a little obnoxious. Is that fair?
Oh, yeah.
Here's my question, though.
That's absolutely fair.
Howard said you are JD's boss. Right now, if you say, JD, go get me a cup of coffee, does he have to do that?
No, and have you seen, and in all fairness, have you seen me try and boss JD around?
No, but I want to know.
No, of course not.
Why not? He sasaid you are, right?
Well, first of all, I have an intern to do that, so I don't need JD to do it. If I'm going to really be JD's boss, I wouldn't boss him around to get me cups of coffee. JD's, quite frankly, more talented and has more important things to do. But if I was going to really be JD's boss, I would probably I'd come in early and sit with him for a couple days, watch exactly what he does and how he does it, talk to Gary and Howard and find out what they expect from him on a daily basis, and then I would.
Please do that.
I would try and help him be more efficient.
That would be the greatest thing ever.
Well, you're calling me an ego monster.
Who cares? You are an ego monster. Just own it.
I own it.
I don't say I hate it. I just think it's funny.
So it is weird in the office. JD and I, as you heard on the show this week, he didn't talk to me at Teddy's wedding. He is talking to me in the hallway, and we'll get later in the show. We'll be talking about somebody who's not. There's somebody we're feuding with that is not talking to us in the hallway.
Yes.
And there's somebody we are feuding with that is talking to us. At least JD, I'll give him credit work-wise in the hall. You know, he's not ignoring me. He's not acting like I don't exist. He's, if I need something for work or he needs something from me, it's not an issue. It's not weird. But he, it's the most cold our relationship has ever been. I mean, just outwardly.
I think it's over.
I think it's over too.
I mean, he'll make comments when you're not even around, like, "Oh, I just can't stand that guy." So I really think it's done.
Well, let me just remind the audience, and let me remind JD himself about all the great things I've done for JD over the course of.
You have a list?
I have a list. It's a long list. Okay, number one, and Will, feel free to jump in and disagree.
I think
with
you should come in and thank you for some of these
I think
things.
you should call in, actually.
Okay.
JD, you know the hotline number. All right, so first of all, I helped get him hired. Now, a lot of people push for him to get hired. I'm not taking sole credit for it, but I was absolutely one of the people that, when we needed an intern to fill that TiVo job after our last intern got fired, I said JD. And
I was scared of him.
And I was absolutely one of the first people and the loudest people going to Gary saying, dude, forget another intern. We need to hire this guy because he knows what the fuck he's doing. So a lot of people were part of getting JD hired, but I was absolutely one of the earliest and biggest proponents of him.
Point Jason.
Thank you. 2, I helped him get health insurance. He wasn't getting health insurance at K-Rock. Howard and Gary pretty much I think they told Tom, like, hey, Tom, our old boss, you have to get him health insurance. And Tom did.
He could definitely use that, by the way.
Tom did.
Diabetes issues.
Oh, they did.
Heart failure.
Back then, he was a little skinny kid, but thank God he got the health insurance.
That's true.
Yeah. Our office manager at the time, who was a little busy with crap going on in her personal life, was sitting on the health insurance documents. And every once in a while, I talked to JD, have they gone through yet? Do you have health insurance yet? And he would go, no, so-and-so is supposed to be sending in the papers. And after a couple of weeks of that, I went down to our office manager and I said, I stood there and watched her fill out the paperwork until she sent it in because JD wasn't doing it himself. So therefore, I helped JD get health insurance.
So you may have saved his life.
I've definitely saved his life.
He's probably had a physical. They may have caught some kind of awful ailment that may have killed him if you hadn't been there for him.
Will, this is me and you. You and I were both early and loud proponents to get JD on the air. Howard didn't know JD that well for a long time at K-Rock, and you and I kept saying, he's a gold mine. Just put him in front of the microphone for 5 minutes and it'll be radio gold. And it took a while. I don't think we weren't as high in the organization back then, so I don't think we were as listened to. And, it takes a while for things to happen, as Gary says, organically.
Yeah.
But, right? You and I were big proponents to get JD on the air?
We spotted his lack of talent very early on.
And last but not least, and this is the thing he should kiss my ass for every single day. When he was an intern and we didn't know if he was definitely going to get hired or not, and he was going to go out into the job market, I took him aside and told him how horrible and disgusting his breath was and that he needed to start brushing his teeth.
What a guy you are.
If he's going to go on job interviews, he can't have that disgusting, horrible breath.
Do you mind having that discussion with him again?
Oh, it's not as bad. Will.
No, there are some days.
There are some days.
There are people, but listen, that's everybody. I'm sure I don't smell that clean and fresh from time to time.
But to bring the audience into it, Will, how bad on a daily basis did his breath smell back in the K-Rock?
Oh, back in the K-Rock days, it was brutal. It would knock you over, that type of breath. But,
yeah.
He's good now.
Yeah, all right. Well, anyway, so that's my state of the office with JD. I don't know if you have anything you want to add to that.
No, I think we're at a stalemate at this point. JD doesn't like you. Howard seems to be siding with you, which only makes JD angrier. So I don't know where we go from here.
He's not siding with me. He's siding with the right side. He's siding with the truth.
The truth, huh?
The truth. Phil in Massachusetts, welcome to Back Office Radio.
Jason, what's up, man?
What's up, man?
Hey, listen, I like you. I like Will. You guys mix it up. You guys cause conflict. You're what's interesting on the air, in my opinion.
Well, thank you. I think we'll take
Very
that
nice.
compliment. Is that it?
Yeah, and also JD is hilarious, but at the same time, really, really frustrating. That's the thing. And I can imagine he's like that with everyone. He doesn't seem to, he seems standoffish and just doesn't seem to talk to people, and I don't know.
No, I don't find him standoffish. I mean, I think he's a little shy around people he doesn't know.
He's
but
standoffish if he's not good friends with you, and he'd be the first to admit it. When I take a tour around, or anybody takes a tour around, you know, he's he'll turn his back. He's not an outgoing person.
Right.
And I think that's not because he doesn't like people. It's because he's very shy and very not comfortable in those situations.
I've heard, though, if you keep bacon in your pocket, he'll run right over.
Jack
He's
Nicholson
good that
figured
way.
that out.
Yeah.
As good as it gets. Hey, we have a JD expert on the phone. JD expert Teddy Knitter. Teddy, welcome to Back Office Radio.
Teddy microphone.
Hello?
Sorry,
are you alive, sir?
I'm alive. I'm alive.
So, Teddy, you probably know JD better than anybody in the office. You guys traveled together for years together with Artie. You stayed in fancy hotels. You've seen JD with girls. You've taken long road trips with him. What is the state of JD right now?
JD is, he's scrambling. He's out of the pocket, if you take my metaphor. I think, Jason, you've got him on his toes.
I think the better question is, what is the state of Teddy right now?
I just got out of the shower. I'm in Austin, Texas, getting ready to go to Austin City Limits, 3-day music festival, so there's a chance I might not be back.
How much vacation time do you get?
Enough.
Well, you took like a week for the wedding.
I didn't take a week for the wedding. I took 2 days for the wedding.
Where else did you go this year? Paris?
You went to Scotland? Where else did you go? You went to Scotland, you went to Poland?
That was for a wedding.
Poland for the soccer game?
Over a weekend.
Paris?
That's right. I went to Poland. Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Will,
live some life.
Our next Back Office Spotlight is going to be on Teddy.
Yes.
We have to reveal all the truth about Teddy. But Teddy, let's focus on JD for a second.
Great. That sounds fun.
Do you think I was out of line with JD this week?
I think you're always out of line a little bit. No. Honestly, I mean, that was when it came down to me nominating my Deuce of the Week, originally I was going to nominate JD because honestly I want him to stand up to you, Jason. I think you're actually looking out for his best interest.
Thank you.
You're pushing him. I think you're trying to get him.
It's not easy to push JD either, believe me.
Listen, this is Teddy.
Will with the fat joke.
This is one of JD's best friends in the world, and he's saying that JD was pretty much douching to me this week.
I'm just saying I think he can handle you. I think he backs off too easily, and he does the "what do you want from me? Leave me alone" argument too much.
He doesn't like confrontation.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Yeah.
All right, I think we've exhausted the JD talk for now.
But instead of so let me just get back to the beginning of your glorious show this week.
Yeah.
He is not now my nominee for Deuce of the Week. My nominee is Will.
No,
Teddy.
We're not doing it yet.
Of the week.
Because you're a lying sack of shit.
Teddy.
I never said I want to be a star.
You're ruining the show right now. We're not to this segment. Listen, there's a structure here, sir. I know in your life you do whatever the hell you want, but here we have rules and laws.
There's a workflow.
All right?
Sorry.
So get out of the shower, dry your balls, and we'll call you back in 20 minutes.
Teddy.
Oh, well, I might be out on a motorcycle ride, so I'll let you know.
Again, showing the show as a priority. I like that.
Gentlemen, I love you.
I love you. We'll call you back. We'll call you back in a few. We'll get your official.
Whenever. I'm always around.
Okay. Well, except here. You're always around in Austin, Texas. So that does us a lot of good. All right, let's go to our second State of the Office. Will and Sal got into a little tiff this past week. Al, let's remind the audience.
On Monday, Sal the stockbroker screamed at Will on the wrap-up show over confusion about the labeling of Howard's Clips page.
As a reminder, it's under quote-unquote the Gary Page.
Yeah, but you didn't say that.
I didn't say it. I typed it, and if you would have fucking read it, it would have been on the air smoothly, you jackass.
Sal created a secret page called The Gary Show, and he asked Will to bring it to Howard's attention so Gary wouldn't know about it. Howard had trouble finding the page because Will told him to look under Gary Show without the all-important the.
Who is that, Sal? You dumbass.
Yes.
You fucking stupid fuck.
I told Will I had to...
Oh, you told Will. Well, the two of you should go hang yourselves.
Yeah, Mr. High IQ over here.
Who was right, and why did Sal freak out?
All right, so what was that?
Did anyone follow that? I hope people could follow that at home.
Really quick, I'll try to summarize it. You and Sal were working on a bit about Gary that you didn't want Gary to see.
Sal was working on a bit, and he wanted me to bring it to Howard's attention without Gary knowing.
Okay, and so Sal, we have a system. Anyone who's listened to the show for 5 minutes know we have something called Profit, where we have pages.
Gary page 1, Gary page 2, JD page,
so
etc.
Sal wanted to hide the page so it wasn't up top where Gary normally looks. So instead of putting it as a, Gary Goof page or whatever he should call it, he called it the Gary Goof page.
He called it the Gary Show page. And I listed it as Gary Show page. I didn't realize the
was part of the title.
Was that important.
Because if you've ever searched for a movie or a song online, the is not important. They take the away and they get to the meat, because everything would just be the if it was just the.
It was an assumption on my part, and technically, I was wrong. But again, like you said, you don't use the when you're doing any kind of search. And in fact, behind the scenes, Howard actually said, don't use the in any kind of title moving forward.
Right. So this is the difference between me and you, and I want to get in your head here a little bit. So as you heard in that clip we just played, Sal was on air throwing you under the bus, saying, this is Will's fault. And you could hear you yelling in the background over Gary's mic.
Yeah.
Well, if it was me, I would have run right in and been like, fuck you, and tossed it up with him. What were you feeling? Do you wish you had got in, or do you think you played it right?
No, I think Howard came down on our side, meaning the side that don't call it the Gary Show. What was weird, though, is when the show ended, John said, hey, can you and Sal come down to the wrap-up show? So I said, Sal, you want to come down? And he was like, oh, okay, man, we'll be friends. Well, he seemed very friendly at that point, like he was reluctant to go down. And as soon as we get on the air, holy shit, he just blew up at me. And I had no idea, I think he was doing it for on-air shtick, but it was out of nowhere. It was like a raping. I had no idea where it was coming from. And I don't think he was actually genuinely that angry about that part of the whole story.
Right.
I do think there's some anger issues going on back there.
Do you think he's angry at you, or are you thinking that Sal and maybe Richard are just angry in general this last couple of weeks?
Yeah, I think, we've made some changes here at the show.
Yeah, it's called working.
Yeah. Well, and those guys are really working their asses off.
Yeah, they are.
And, I don't know if they feel that other people aren't holding their end of the bargain or whatever, that they see other people here not doing as much as them, and that makes them angry. But there's definitely, some hostility coming from that office.
Next week on this show, let's explore this topic a little bit further, and I'm going to come up with a list of people that I bet that they think don't pull their weight.
Yeah, it's pretty easy. If you work here, you know who it is.
Well, we'll bring that to light on air. Now, I happen to think, and I love Sal. Personally and on the air, he is one of my favorite guys here.
He's hilarious.
But one thing I don't like about Sal is that he always blames other people when he fucks up. If the top 5 isn't right, it's Scott the engineer's fault. If something else isn't right, it's Gary's fault. And sometimes it really is somebody else's fault, but most of the time, he could at least take some of the blame, and I hate people that cannot admit that they're wrong and take the blame.
Like your buddy Scott DePace.
Like my buddy Scott DePace, right. Your buddy Scott DePace. So...
that's very true about Sal. That's his deal. He always finds a scapegoat.
Marianne from Brooklyn, who do you think's the douche of the week?
My douche of the week is Sal. I've been thinking about this all week. He ripped you a fucking new hair throw on the wrap-up show, and you should have kicked his ass. That was his fault. He knows that he never put... If this wasn't the first time when Howard goes to page Gary, the shit's never there, Will. Why didn't you stick up for yourself?
Well, I think it was really a miscommunication. I just wish Sal had stressed the importance of the word the. But, the story's kind of secondary. My bigger point is those guys are pretty angry back there right now. And I don't know what's going on. I think there's like I said, a transition going on here in the office, and they've been asked to step it up. And for whatever reason...
They're on edge?
Yeah, they're on edge.
They're on edge.
It's a good way of putting it.
How are you and Sal now? 4 days, you're fine. You guys talk.
No, listen, I love that guy. I love him and Richard, and I would never want to, be assholes to them. So yeah, you gave me, he does that Sal move where he bitches at you on the air, and then as soon as you get off, he says, hey, how you doing, buddy? I love you,
If you had to pick one, Sal or Richard, you have to choose. They're not attached at the hip. You can only hang with one or be friends with one for the rest of your life. Who do you pick?
Jeez. Well, this is Back Office Radio, so
this
we
is
have
Back
to
Office Radio.
it changes, it fluctuates.
Today, October 11th.
Today would be Sal, probably.
Sal would be my guy too. All right.
That's just today, though, Richard. I love you too, buddy.
That is yes. Everyone loves Richard. Okay, and one last.
That doesn't sound like a lot of love from you.
No, I like Richard, but our friendship. No, Richard and I's friendship is probably at the strongest it's been since going back to the feud we had between me and Artie and him. But I think, which predated my wedding that he didn't go to so he could go to a concert.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I think the feeling is mutual.
I know the feeling is mutual. But I think I like Richard, and I think Richard likes me. I don't think either one of us are in love with each other.
Fair enough.
Okay, our last state of the office was someone who had very, very strong opinions about the Back Office Radio.
The first episode of Back Office Radio caused a shitstorm in the halls of Sirius. Howard 100 News reporter Lisa G was the most offended after being nominated for Douche of the Week and targeted in a Page 69 story.
When you make comments like that, you're asking for it. Stick to your cookie book.
Will nominates Lisa G as his Douche of the Week. I like that.
Lisa has since apologized to Jason for being less than enthusiastic about the launch of Back Office Radio.
I think no one cares about their show.
Any message you'd like to give the guys back there?
Yeah, I think you did one show. I think that's enough.
However, she's no longer speaking to Will and told the higher-ups he needs to cool it. Where do Will and Lisa stand now? How will this situation be resolved?
So as you heard in our intro, which actually gave some new information, after Back Office Radio last week and after Lisa went on the news and trashed it and said, it was horrible programming for Howard 101 and pretty much implied that Tim doesn't know what he's doing, what happened? I got a call on Saturday from Lisa where she was basically apologizing for the things that she said on the air. And she was like, it wasn't cool for me to say that. I apologize. And I texted her back and say, thank you. And we moved on. And I came in Monday morning and I said, well, it looks like Lisa G felt bad and apologized. And you apparently got a totally different
Yeah, I have to be very
response.
delicate with this one.
Okay.
Hold on. We'll get to a new rule we're going to imply here, or implement. But so Lisa and I are not speaking right now. She's not speaking to me. I'm not really angry at her in any way. I felt like I just had a response to her trashing our show. And then I did a stupid Page 69 on her. If she was angry with me, I wish she had just come to me directly or even come on the show and stated what the problem was. But she went to people behind my back, higher ups here, as you heard in that story, and said he needs to cool it.
Wow.
Which I don't really know what that means because I don't think I did anything out of line. That being said, we want to err on the side of caution, so we're going to have a new rule here.
Well, yeah, and I think this is good, and I'll play good cop on this one. I like Lisa. I don't agree with what she did to you, and I hate backstabbers, but I don't think she can handle the show.
It's too much?
I'm going to do her a favor. I think we're going to do her a favor.
Right. So now, moving forward, if we were to say anything that can be seen as, help me out here, Jason.
Well, we're now
insulting to Lisa G.
How about anything Lisa G?
No, I don't know, but at least insulting. The great Al Ragone and Jimmy, our producer, will hit a sound buzzer that sounds like this. Right.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, okay.
So whenever you say something out of line, if you stepped over that line,
now what if I keep going over the line, Al? Oh, okay.
Geez, they're just going to drown your ass out.
Well, my stomach crosses the line way before my feet do, so it's hard to know when to hit the buzzer. But I want to take it a step further, Will. I want to do Lisa G a favor. I don't want her to have agita. I don't want her to have anxiety, and I don't want her to not like you. And it was very weird, by the way, in the hall. You walked by her in front of me and said, "Hey, good morning, Lisa."
I said, "Hi, Lisa."
Yeah, hi, Lisa. Like very nice, very friendly, not in her face. And she just stared at you and didn't say a word.
She gave me this snotty face. Well, no, she said hi, but I thought she was giving me a bit of a snotty face. Oh, you can't say snotty face? I mean, all right, I'm sorry. She looked very nice that morning. We love Lisa, and I apologize. She's a wonderful person.
Well, do you know, and I heard this, and this isn't a Page 69, but I think you heard the same thing too, that off air, she said that the only reason we are bitter and angry people is because I am fat and you almost died from
No.
cancer.
These are kids. That we grew up angry because you were a fat kid, which I've seen your high school yearbook. Yeah. You were not fat.
No, I'm a fat adult.
A little strange looking, and you wore that creepy long trench jacket.
Yep.
But
coat.
Trench coat. Excuse me. And I had cancer, which I'm sure I have anger issues about. But Jesus Christ, I had cancer. You're allowed to be fucking angry over cancer. Is it too? You're right. That's a good point. I did have cancer as a child, and I accept my shortcomings, and I apologize.
Okay, Al. Well, I'm going to go list all the reasons why I think Lisa G grew up an angry child.
You are now in a Lisa G free zone.
Whoa!
Oh, I got totally. You got
totally frozen out,
guys at home. I just said 5 things, and that they dumped it with that right there. It's crazy. No, in fact, I think as someone who actually likes Lisa, I'm going to do her a favor and say no more Lisa talk on Back Off, good or bad.
Okay.
Good or bad. Let's make a promise to both Lisa G and the audience that Back Office Radio will forever be.
You are now in a Lisa G free zone.
All right, so no more Lisa. Lisa, you don't need to worry about it at all.
I want to be your friend, Lisa, if we can, please.
Hey, Tommy from Malden. Wow, he's like a celebrity because he calls on the Howard Show, and now he's calling into our show. What's up, Tommy?
Thanks, Jason. I love the show.
Thank you. Who's your Douche of the Week nominee?
I think I'm gonna change it. I was gonna nominate the caller that said that Howard's gonna have to take a pay cut, and he took a pay cut at Sirius when he signed again. That guy's a douche, but you know who is? Well, I want to back you up. Sal's an asshole. That thing about you were totally right. Any retard would know, that you don't use the T in the.
Well, apparently Sal, but you said retard, so I guess he does fall under that umbrella.
All right, well, I think we're going to kick this out to a break right now, but coming up, we'll get Teddy back on the phone, and we'll all give our douche of the week nominees, the three of us. We've been hearing from the callers who have some great suggestions on that. We'll also be introducing our newest segment, Back Office Spotlight. This week, the spotlight's on Steve Brandano.
Host of the Intern Show. Not an intern, though.
No, very, very far removed from an intern. So stay tuned on Back Office Radio, only on Howard 101.
This is Back Office Radio with Will and Jason on Howard 101. Welcome to JD's worst nightmare. It's Will and Jason with open mics. Back Office Radio with Will and Jason on Howard 101.
God damn it, JD. I said no starch. No starch. Take it back.
Starch?
That's my dry cleaning.
Oh, he's doing your dry cleaning now, too?
And making me mashed potatoes.
Got him busy. Maybe he'll lose a few pounds.
God only knows he could stand it. Welcome back to Back Office Radio.
I love when Jason makes fat jokes. That's the best.
Well, here's the deal. JD's a fat guy. He made fat jokes to me, and I'm not going to sit there and act like he's a skinny guy.
That's a fair point.
No, stop
we get the horn for JD now? He's next? No, he's got a thick skin.
A very thick skin.
Yes.
Okay. Welcome back to Back Office Radio on Howard 101. I am Jason, and with me is Will, and we have some tweets. We started the show by saying that this show is actually getting positive response. We got a celebrity tweet. I want to read it out loud. This is from the great Mark McGrath from Sugar Ray.
Yes.
He's the man, of course, for Stern fans know him. He's on the show all the time. He's on Celebrity Superfan Roundtable. He sang an amazing version of Jerking Off to You with that Facebook song on our show.
And he's gotten tons of pussy, most importantly.
Tons. From Mark McGrath on Twitter at Mark_McGrath. Back Office Radio is the kind of programming Howard Stern fans love. Shows about shows. Less Jackie and Riley, more Jason and Will. I like Jackie and Riley, Mark, but yes, I agree with you. More Jason and Will.
I'm a Sugar Ray fan now. For
Huge.
Life, baby. Me and the 40-year-old women just dancing out there, hanging out.
Put your arms around. Anyway, so thank you, Mark McGrath. Thank you, everyone, for having a positive reaction to the show. Chad in New Hampshire, welcome to Back Office Radio.
Yeah, I got a nomination for Douche of the Week, and I got to preface this by saying I'm a huge JD fan. I love the guy, especially on the show. But Douche of the Week definitely to JD for not accepting that Jason is his new boss.
It's a good point.
It is a good point, and I'll tell you, he doesn't even accept that Howard's his boss. I mean, Howard told him to close his Twitter account down twice now. He hasn't done it. As his boss, I'm not following up on that yet, but,
I'm just upset he put too much starch in your dry cleaning. Really.
I know that's a thing. I know that's a thing. Sorry, I was leaning over to get the phone. Douche of the Week. I think it's time to get Douche of the Week. We have Teddy
Douche of the Week.
We have Teddy back on the phone. Teddy, still in Austin?
Yeah, still here.
All right, brother.
Are you out of the shower yet?
Yeah.
All right, good.
All right, should we let Teddy go first?
Yes,
he's on the phone?
He's very busy.
I dyed my hair with a nice motorcycle ride.
By the way, is your beautiful wife with you, Poppy?
My wife's here. Yes, this was a lovely wedding gift. Our tickets to the show this weekend.
I find Teddy's
we're
wife.
enjoying it.
I find
90 degrees out.
I find Teddy's wife so sexy.
Yeah, no, the British accent is very hot.
British accent. She's skinny. She's got nice rack up top.
We will not be coming to your party on this.
Are you definitely not coming?
No, we'll be there.
All right, good.
Are you giving the name of your party?
I'm throwing a wine and weed party next Saturday.
You're so open about it. It's like unbelievable. You know it's illegal, right?
Well, I didn't say what kind of weed was going to be there. It could be
okay.
Disgusting, stuff.
Dandelions or something.
No, it's wine and weed in name only.
Oh,
spirit only.
Okay, fair enough.
But when I have a wine and weed party, I got to have somebody that loves both wine and weed there, and that is definitely Teddy.
Okay.
Teddy?
Thank you.
Are you there, sir?
Yeah, I'll be there.
Is Poppy like, what's she doing? Is she like pleasuring you? Or?
Oh, God.
It's all right, Poppy. I won't be hired.
I don't know what they're doing. I'm with 3 girls. I'm the only guy here right now. So.
I know. All right. Teddy, why don't you give us your Douche of the Week nominee?
Well, you heard it before. It's Will.
Go
on, explain.
Will, because you lied. You blatantly lied about my fight with Jim. It was not. I did not say the phrase that gives me douche chills to say I want to be a star.
What did you just say? Wait, what did you just say?
No. You're not going to ISO this.
I get that for replay by the next break.
Did you say you want to be a star?
No.
I was born a star.
Why won't somebody notice me?
Yeah, right.
I want to go to the bar. I want to go to the bar. That's what I said.
No, that's not what you said. You said, Jim has been keeping me off the air for years. I want my star to shine.
It was heated, okay? It was a heated argument.
Right, and then, you know.
I said I was muzzled.
You broke out your boa, your feathered boa, and strutted right out of the studio. You're snazzy, sir.
It's really true. It's really true. Anyway, so.
All right, well.
Is that really your douche of the week?
Yeah, I'm calling an audible, and I'm making you my fucking douche of the week.
All right, so to recap, Teddy Knitter names Will Murray as his
douche of the week.
All right, Teddy, good nomination. I am going, and I don't want to be too repetitive here, but I am nominating whiny, crying, mamby-pamby, baby pants JD Harmeyer, who spent the entire...
Is that 2 weeks in a row?
No, was he douche of the week last week? No, John Hine. John Hine was
very good. Yeah,
right.
right.
No, this is now JD, who spent the week bullying me on the air, trying to make me out to be some sort of ogre and madman that is not liked by anybody and that throws good friends under the bus. Like I explained in the beginning of the show, I don't throw people under the bus to make myself look better. In fact, if anything, I've tried to promote JD's career as long as I've known him and trying to get him to soar to new heights. But he painted a picture of me that is unfair and inaccurate.
Oh, wait, I hear a buzz. Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on. That's a buzz? What did it fucking stall?
Ow, I'm a much bigger bus than that.
Is that a bus or did you fart, Jason?
I think the bus kind of ran over JD and he farted. I don't know what
I think Jason eats lunch.
I'm just saying I'm a bigger bus than that. Anyway, like JD said, I do not make other people look bad to promote myself. My hard work might make people who don't do hard work look bad by comparison, but I do not make JD look bad to better myself. In fact, the complete opposite is true, and that's why JD is my
douche of the week.
Is he there, guys? Is he going to make an appearance today or what?
I don't know.
I think he's struggling to get through the studio door. Give him another hour.
It takes him a while to wash all that long hair of his, you know.
Oh,
Stop.
man, guys.
Jeez.
Oh, boy.
Stop.
JD, I love you, JD. Be strong.
Be strong. There's something he can't do.
All right, so I guess I'm up at this point. There's something he can't do. My nominee this week for Douche of the Week is our very own Jason Kaplan. Surprise. I have several different reasons for this.
Okay.
So, reason one is obviously Howard named you Employee of the Month, the week, whatever the hell you are now.
Not my fault.
He said how much he loves you.
Not my
And I
fault.
said it fed the beast. You are now a true ego monster if you weren't before.
So,
and I picked this, and I've noticed several different things.
Okay,
one,
good. All right.
you talk a lot more in the studio now, like even when Howard's interacting with the guests. Like yesterday, Howard's having a conversation with Henry Winkler, and you were just crowbarring your way in every chance you got on that one.
I wouldn't describe it as crowbar my way in, but yes, I am more talkative in the studio.
Okay. We can get back to this in one sec, but I want to do my whole spiel. You lectured Gary about how to be a better producer behind closed doors.
That wasn't supposed to be on the air.
Huh?
That was not supposed to be on the air. But I did not lecture Gary.
Well, okay.
I did not lecture Gary at all.
Lecture is a strong word.
Let me rephrase it, and you tell me if I'm off. I had a talk with Gary where I was bluntly honest with him about how I thought the office should run.
I'm sorry.
Fair enough?
Am I in trouble? Are you mad at me right now? I'm sorry.
I'm not mad at you, but I did say that's
I
not
couldn't
for on
remember.
air.
I said I thought you said just don't get into specifics.
No, I said, guys, this is. All right. Let's just leave it at that.
All right, I apologize. No, that conversation never happened. I don't know what you're talking about.
Ow!
All right, my final reason.
Can I go back and call Will my douche of the week now?
No.
You were right.
I know. This is why this show isn't going to last more than a fucking couple of weeks. It's just going to get ugly.
I'm not mad.
My final reason, I'm sorry. My final reason is the sports codes.
I love it.
It's a new sport code here, right? And before I go any further, this is what this show's all about. We have some secret audio of Jason defending his sport code.
Oh, excellent. That set is actually very comfortable. The inside is very soft. It's a lot lighter. The whole jacket is much lighter than it looks. When I go outside, like you were just saying about the weather, like this is like the perfect weather. Like I don't have to go look for a jacket. I don't have to, this is just So it's comfortable in that sense. And, whether or not it's the truth, I think I look kind of good in it, so it's giving me some self-confidence. Yeah, well, I do. I concur with everything I said in that clip.
Jason, they're having a conversation with his office girlfriend, a lovely young lady named Kim.
Yes.
And you're hearing all the great things about his jacket.
Well,
which we get to hear those conversations every day, which I love.
Yeah, I didn't start a soliloquy about my jacket. I think she asked me about it. Or maybe we were just talking about it. Either way, I love my jacket.
The best part of that was the conversation with Kim started yesterday with, would you like some of the pumpernickel bread that I baked?
Yes.
Followed by, I told Janice to lay off the caraway seeds this time.
Yeah. Well, I like a little caraway seeds, but not too many because they get stuck in your teeth. My wife bakes fresh bread.
Save it for the next Kim conversation, please.
Really quick, my wife bakes fresh bread at home. It's delicious. She just made some pumpernickel bread, and I told Kim I bring her in a slice, and she goes, "Are there caraway seeds in it?" Because she doesn't like them, and I said yes, but not many, because I like light caraway seeds.
Yeah,
that's how I take my pumpernickel.
Well,
Thank you.
as you can see, that is why I have nominated you for
Douche of the Week.
I love my jacket. This jacket has been a long time coming. And what do you think? I tried today.
Is it one jacket?
I got 2 jackets. Well, this is
are you going to like pull the Richard Christie move and just wear one jacket every day?
No. I got 2 jackets.
2. So you're going to alternate.
I'm going to alternate, and I wanted to make sure I liked them and was going to use them before I buy more jackets. Eventually.
But what was the idea behind it? Like, do you say, "Oh, Gary's dressing up with a jacket for"?
If John Lieberman calls in, I've been talking to him about this probably since back in the spring because he dresses nicely, and I had to do a little. As you can hear Howard say on the air, and this might be part of the ego monster, but it's also the truth. I have been elevated into certain positions, with the website and other things. And, I'm in meetings now with people that I've never been in meetings with before. And I want to look better. I want to look more professional. And so I've been talking to Lieberman for a long time about where he gets his clothes and all this sort of stuff. Then it was the summer and I didn't want to wear all the jackets when it was hot. But more importantly, how does it look I'm doing a t-shirt look today. So I just have an Aerosmith t-shirt on with the jacket.
It looks good for a kid wearing a jacket. Absolutely. You do look sharp in it. I love in the clip where you say, it gives me more confidence.
Yeah, it does.
As if you need more confidence at this point.
It does.
It can double as a circus tent.
That's a good point.
Hey, that's true. What can I say? I don't know. I like it. I know people were going to think it was douchey if I came walking in. Anytime you change anything, usually around here,
Professor Douche, I'd go with.
Professor Douche. I'll take Professor Douche.
Yeah, you like
it. Sounds like a superhero.
Okay. Oh, of course. Jesus Christ.
All right, so those are the nominees. Teddy nominates Will Murray. I nominate J.D. Harmeyer with a strong backup as Will as my second in case J.D. falls through. And Will nominates Lisa G. We want to hear from you all.
No, I nominated you.
Oh, I'm sorry. You nominated me. Damn it. I thought I slipped that past me. Will nominated Jason Kaplan, and we'll announce the winner later in the show. But those are your 3 major nominees.
Douche of the Week.
Nominees. Yes. Okay. There we go. Now I feel bad.
Are you mad at me?
No.
I'm sorry, dude. I really didn't mean to do that.
No. It's fine. It's all good. I know you didn't do it on purpose.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go. We have a new feature now called the Back Office Spotlight, where we're going to take somebody in the back office, who may not be as well known on the air, or certainly their personal life isn't well known, and really shine a spotlight on them. So we're going to get to that. But Ted, really quick, thanks for calling in. Thanks for giving us your Douche of the Week nominee, and have fun in Austin.
Guys, it's great. You guys sound good this week. I'm glad you got on the air, and
we're just glad we had you on the air to breathe heavy into the microphone.
I'm glad I was able to shine.
Are you going to be back with us next week?
Yeah, as long as my heart doesn't stop.
No, I think he has a trip to Australia next week.
Oh, yeah.
World traveler.
That knitter fortune. All right, well, thanks, Teddy.
Thanks, good luck, guys.
Love you, buddy.
Yeah, bro. Have fun. So this week we're going to be doing our Back Office Spotlight on Steve Brandano.
Back Office Spotlight. It's time for Back Office Spotlight. Today we shine the spotlight on Steve Brandano.
Steve Brandano, to the audience, he's been with us on the Stern Show, I think, for about 7 years now? 8 years?
He was an intern in 2005.
2005. Steve proactively came up with a great idea for the intern show.
It was the last internship at K-Rock, and he came up with the idea for the intern show.
And that ended up being spun into a full-time job for him here. And from there, he's gone from, hosting and producing the intern show to producing a lot of
He's a full-time producer. He assists with a lot of the research that I do for the guests on Howard's show.
Right.
He produces Geek Time with you.
Yep.
He produces John Hein TV show.
Yep.
He obviously hosts the intern show.
Yep.
He's like our utility guy, you know?
Yeah, and he works very hard. And in fact, you and I were just talking the other week. We've been listening to more of the Intern Show because they've been talking about Back Office Radio and us, and he's become an excellent on-air host.
He's a very good host. He asks all the right questions. It's just the interns have none of the answers.
Okay, so I think we've established that we love him. But, and this is a but, Steve Brandano is probably one of the most psychotic people in the office.
He is. He really
is stone cold crazy when it comes to a lot of things.
Right.
People on there might remember when he got upset when a porn star did a parody of a porn parody of the Miss Universe pageant.
No, she was a former Miss USA, I think.
Right.
Or former Miss America, and she did a porn video, and he was outraged that, she would represent the crown that way.
Outrage. And to know Steve is to know that he is a minefield of things that he's going to get outraged about. Things that you didn't know anybody cared about.
He has a strong moral compass.
And it's like, I'll come in and it'll be about a complete stranger. I'll look at, I'll be reading the news story and I'll go, oh, what a psychotic piece of shit. And Steve will just be right defending him. You don't know if he's psychotic. You don't know if he's a piece of shit. That's not nice to say about somebody. I'm like, Steve, the guy's not even in the fucking room.
Yeah.
Who
he gets
cares?
a little crazy. No doubt. So, where are we starting with, the girlfriend thing or fantasy football?
Let's start with a little fantasy football, I think.
Okay. So we have a league.
Yeah.
It includes all the guys from the show, pretty much. Help me list here. You, me, John Hine.
Scott Salem.
Gary Delabate. JD. Ben Bardo from the Tapes team.
David Height
from the Tapes team.
Matthew Barry.
TMR. Talent Mr. Roto.
And you. Or did we skip somebody?
I don't know. We may skip somebody, but whatever.
If we skipped you, you're not important.
So this year we have the draft, and Steve had the 5th pick, I think it was.
Yeah.
And Matt Barry had the 4th pick.
Yes.
So Matt Barry takes Tom Brady with his selection.
Right, because Aaron Rodgers was already off the board.
Right.
And the top 3 running backs were already off the board. Just for people who don't play fantasy football, Tom Brady was the correct pick to make it that
right. So Steve picks up Drew Brees. Right. Most people would see that as a wash. The next day, Steve is outraged that Matthew Barry would take Tom Brady. He says, Tom Brady, I'll do my Steve Brandano. Yeah. Tom Brady is my player. There's no way that he is my player, and I draft him every year, and there's no way that Matthew Barry should be drafting him. If we're friends in this league, you look out for other friends. It's bullshit.
He kept making the argument that if Matt Barry was a friend, he would have let Steve pick up Tom Brady just because he knows Steve loves Tom Brady.
And there's some tradition in him keeping Tom Brady. He gets Tom Brady no matter where he falls in the draft.
And it's weird because I'm not a competitive person in a lot of areas in life, especially games. I want to win, but I'm not going to ruin a friendship to win fantasy football. But there is you have to play the game. If we're all just friends and helping each other out and okay, you draft who you want to draft and I'll let you draft in front of me, then there's no game there. You just I don't know what you're doing. It's like betting with no money or something. It's very weird. And he has this strange notion that we should all just be friends in the league. And if people know that he likes Tom Brady and Tom Brady's important to him, then we should just step aside and let him draft
and somehow
Tom Brady.
You're not his friend if you don't allow that to happen.
And John Hine.
Yeah, John Hine's little butt buddy totally fed into it.
Oh, he's sitting there. Oh, I would have, if I had the 5th pick, I would have let Steve pick up Tom Brady. Even if I really wanted Tom Brady, I would have let him pick it.
Bullshit.
It is total bullshit. That's again, another example of John talking out of both sides of his mouth. But, it's crazy. And it surfaced its ugly head again, this week when Steve is very busy on Thursday, as he likes to tell everybody all the time. And there's a Thursday night game. And
our waivers stop on Thursday, so you have to have your full roster by Thursday.
Bottom line, when you run a fantasy football team, it is your responsibility to stay on top of your players when they're playing and when you need to pick up on waivers. It's your responsibility and nobody else's. But
so he forgot that he needed to pick up a wide receiver. So he was short a wide receiver because the bye started, or his players were on bye.
Right.
So he first yelled at everybody because this is bullshit that everyone else is paying attention to the league and I'm too busy to on Thursdays. And that people were picking up wide receivers they didn't need. And then he was angry that nobody would make a trade with him initially for some shitty-ass wide receiver he wanted to get rid of, Nate Burleson.
He just kept going, come on, somebody be a friend and just trade me a wide receiver. Just trade. I'm like, why would somebody just trade you a wide receiver? Why would that happen?
We're all friends in the league.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean if I don't want to make a trade with you that we're not friends.
Right.
And he takes it so personal.
He takes it ridiculously personal. He's like, his basic statement was somebody should give me a receiver because I need one this week. And if I don't have one this week, my team will do bad.
And of course, who stepped up for him?
Oh, John Hine.
Get in here.
Get in here. Would have been better if you called him, but that's all right. Get in here. Friend to the Fantasy League, Steve Brandano.
The fantasy football stuff, the girlfriend stuff, I think you guys have a point with. The fantasy football stuff, you guys are way exaggerating. I admit.
What are we exaggerating?
I was not sitting around here going, why aren't you guys my friends and making the trades? I totally understand why you guys wouldn't. All I was saying was if you were friends, you would make a trade. And by the way, how did it end up?
Your friend
my
made a
friend
trade
made
with
a
John
trade. Exactly.
Yeah, and
but
you
so
know
there
what?
are good people in this league that are friendly.
Now you're
and
judging people on whether they make a trade with you.
And the Tom Brady thing is, you guys always would make fun of me for how quickly I would take Tom Brady. And all I was saying was that it sucked that I didn't get Tom Brady. I understand why Barry took him. But if he was a friend, he would have taken Drew Brees and let me have Tom Brady, like John Hines said he would have. And, like, if I was about to pick up a receiver and Victor Cruz was there, Jason, you were the next pick, and there was someone equal to Victor Cruz, I would take them and let you have Victor Cruz.
Well, maybe he doesn't see him as an equal. Maybe he thinks Brady's going to have a better year.
That's fine. Brady hasn't been having a better year. I would say that most people would say they were on the same tier. But okay, move on. You guys can say what else you want.
Well, as long as you're here.
I don't take fantasy as serious as you guys do.
And you get way more serious.
No, I don't.
No, and you get mad at us for taking it serious. So you're like, oh, I'm not checking the waiver wire every 5 minutes.
Yeah,
well,
that's making fun of you guys who are. Yes, and I know it's my problem. I'm not obsessed with it. And by the way, you two sit between me. Besides you two, no one else around here is thinking that I'm talking about how much I'm working on Thursday. It's only you guys.
That was just a joke.
Yeah, I know.
Only the people in earshot.
Yeah.
But by the way, you guys listing all the things that I do here is the nicest thing anybody has said about me on these channels since I started here. So
yeah, well, we got to kiss your ass before we kick you in the balls.
We do like you a lot.
Can you just go on to the girlfriend stuff? I won't talk, and I'll just sit here.
Can I just say one more thing about the Matt Berry, Tom Brady thing? You flat out said that Matthew Berry has ruined fantasy football for you because Tom Brady's the one guy that keeps you going, and that he's an asshole for doing it.
Yeah, I said that this year fantasy football is not fun for me because every year I have Tom Brady, and I know that when I'm watching Tom Brady on Sunday, that's all I need. That's my fantasy outlet and my fan outlet for the Patriots.
Guys, can we clear some lines so we can get some calls for Steve Brandano? 888-STERN-101. That's 888-783-7610. Would love to hear from people who actually play fantasy football. I want to hear from people who might have heard Steve say something weird on the air that they totally disagreed with. And guys, keep listening because we're going to get off fantasy football and get into Steve's weirder fascination with women. Will, you want to start this one off?
Well, Steve, are you going to go in the other room? We'd be much more comfortable talking about your back.
I'll do that. I get to come back in
Absolutely.
at some point.
Absolutely.
Now let me go stand with all the interns that just look at me while you guys are doing it. I know how Gary feels.
They better be taking notes for tonight's intern show at 7 p.m. on Howard 101. All right, so what's...
I like how he goes, you guys are completely wrong, and then owned up to everything we just said.
That's what...
All right, lock the door.
That's how everyone argues.
He can come back once we're done. I don't mind that.
Okay. Will, are you comfortable? You know how to say the story without giving away too many details?
Of course.
Okay, good.
So Steve went to a wedding. I'm not going to say when.
Or where,
any of that thing.
Within the last year.
Went to a wedding. There was a girl that... no, I should preface it before that even. So Steve was hanging out with a girl that he thought was very cute.
Yes.
The girl was into another guy.
This is before the wedding. This is prior months leading up to the wedding.
The girl was into another guy. Right. They meet up at the wedding. At that point, at the wedding, she's dating the guy, but he's not there. He was somewhere else.
She actually, I can say this, I checked with Steve. The girl that he liked, who was dating this other guy, the other guy lives overseas. And she left to live with him overseas.
Right.
And then she came back, saw Steve at the wedding, and the guy from overseas was not with her.
Right. Okay. So they hit it off. They're having a great time. Wedding goes on. She gets drunk. She's showing all signs go for Stevie that he's going to get laid if he plays his cards right.
Can you get into specifics about all signs go?
Well, I forget what it was. I mean, Steve played a song there, there. I mean, that's going to get the girls falling off their chairs, I guess. Yeah. I wish I could play guitar.
Now, she was, I understand, attached to his hip.
Yeah, they were dancing all night. You know, Steve's got a little game. He's making her laugh, whatever. So at some point she gives him her hotel key, right? Right? Is this what happened?
Yes, I believe it is.
So he goes up there about 2 a.m. She's already in bed.
By the way, so when you hand someone your hotel key, that's it. That's saying,
what else
come upstairs and have sex with me.
At that point, exactly.
Or feed me.
He gets upstairs. Yeah, in your case. She pulls the covers open. Like, basically, she's spreading her legs at this point.
For Steve to come into the bed.
For Steve to come into the bed.
Okay. Steve
proceeds, I don't want to ruin the story, but Steve proceeds to lecture her on what an awful girlfriend she is, that she would cheat on her boyfriend with him. And basically he said, I don't mind if she wants to have sex with me. I just wish she would say it instead of making it seem like I'm trying to sleep with her.
He is insane. He kept saying that despite the fact that she gave him the room key, that despite the fact that she's laying there in bed, opening up the covers to let him come into the bed with her, she never actually said the words, I want to have sex with you.
Because girls don't do that. I don't know if I've ever met a girl that said, hey, please come over and fuck me, unless you're in a porn movie or something.
Yeah, or Philadelphia. But,
Stop it.
but what happened was, so Steve, he kept saying, well, I didn't want to just start having sex with her because then she could go back overseas and tell her boyfriend that I had sex with her.
Like I mean,
who cares?
Exactly. Who gives a fuck?
Who is thinking about that?
When is he going to see this girl again? She lives in Ireland.
Again, and hey, Al,
I'm so bad
can
at this.
you hit the, yeah, there we go.
I'm so bad at this.
Can we just have, real quick, during the commercial break, you were telling the story about, you were talking to your wife about you on the show. Can you tell it real quick?
Yeah, it was
Feed
funny.
the ego monster.
Last night, I'm talking to my wife. I'm like, yeah, I just wish I was a little smoother on the air. It takes practice. You got to get there. And she goes, yeah, you're not that great. She's like, Jason's so much better.
I love you, Tracy.
Fuck you.
Much hotter than Poppy.
Thank you.
No, I mean, not taking nothing away from Poppy. So back to Steve. Yeah, so Steve proceeded to lecture her and say to tell her.
He literally said, I want her to feel like a piece of shit for what she's doing right now. I'm like, what is going on right now?
So he left. He didn't have sex with her. I suppose she felt like a piece of shit.
I don't even understand why he went to the hotel room.
I said that to you guys that I wanted her to feel bad, not to her.
Well,
okay.
Right.
It's very simple. The reason that I didn't sleep with this girl is because the minute she wants to cheat on her boyfriend, she's not the girl that I think that she is.
But dude, you were flirting with her all night.
Yeah, I know. And if she was just like, listen, my boyfriend's a dog and I don't like him and we're not going to be together, then I would have slept with her. But the fact that she does like her boyfriend means that she's a girl that cheats on her boyfriend.
No, it means.
And I'm not into that. And therefore, I'm not into her.
What about a girl that just wants to have fun at a wedding?
Wait.
And you don't have to be into her. You just have to fuck her. She thought she was hot.
Yeah, I don't fuck people that I'm not into.
Can we just take a step back?
You were
just
into
said.
her.
Yeah, I was until she shows me that she's the type of girl that cheats on her boyfriend.
But you
And
just
then I'm
said if
not
she
into
said,
it.
I want to cheat on my boyfriend, you would have been fine
Right,
with
that
it.
means their relationship is ending or is gonna be over, and I don't factor into that. But that's not the situation. She is gonna be with that dude, and that means she's the type of girl that cheats on her boyfriend, and I'm not into that.
And a girl that you sleep with, her, I'm assuming drunkenly, not you because you're not drinking, at a
Which
wedding.
makes things very difficult.
At a wedding where she is then assuming after the wedding going to be flying back to
wherever
overseas. Right. What difference is, you're not going to date her. She's not going to be your girlfriend. So why do you care?
Because I'm not into her and I don't sleep with people that I'm not into.
But you were into her. You were into her the whole night.
Until
what?
Until
she opened her bed and said, fuck me?
Yeah, until she says that I'm the type of person that cheats on my good boyfriend.
But I mean,
for all we know.
You were getting
And
all
now
the
I'm not
signs.
into her.
But you were getting all the signs that she was going to cheat on her boyfriend the whole night, right? She was flirting
and if
with
she
you.
had told me that her boyfriend was a scumbag and they're not going to be together, then I would have done it.
But why did you even go up to her hotel room?
Because there was complications. There was like luggage and shit like that. You know?
But Steve, and real quick.
And if she had said, because my boyfriend's a dog, then I would have banged her.
I have heard about this girl
What
for
a
a
lucky
long
girl.
Yeah, I know. I have heard about this girl for a while. She's very pretty. I've seen her pictures on Facebook.
Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. Steve dug her. And, she like a JD situation, she couldn't let go of this other guy that she
No,
liked.
it's not like a JD situation.
No, in the sense that, remember JD hooked up with a girl and then she went right back to her ex-boyfriend?
Yeah.
You
And
guys
I don't
were flirting.
put myself in those situations.
I have seen you flirt with her
Yes,
before.
yes.
But ultimately she did nothing with you and went to go be with this guy overseas.
Right.
And then she flies back. And
Yes.
like any young, attractive girl alone at a party, she clung to a guy that she likes and was probably attracted to.
Right.
And said, sleep with me.
Right.
And you said no.
Yes.
Okay.
Because you
Can I
you
renominate douche of the week?
Hold on. You want to only have sex with girls that you think you're going to be in a relationship with.
No, I would like to have sex with girls that are into me and that I
And that
am
are morally
into,
superior.
and that I am into.
Yeah, you were into her. So she meets all
I
those
was
that
into
criteria.
her until Will. That's what you don't understand. It's when she's going to cheat on her boyfriend, I am no longer into you because I'm not into girls that cheat on their boyfriend.
Kyle in Pennsylvania, welcome to Back Office Radio.
Hi, man. Yeah, I wanted to talk about fantasy football, but now I got to talk about this. I mean, I kind of agree with Steve. I don't know. That's a huge turnoff, man. When a girl's gonna cheat on her boyfriend, that's bad karma on you.
Yeah, but he knew if anything was gonna happen, it was gonna be cheating. If anything was gonna happen that whole night, it was gonna be cheating.
Yes, it might have been cheating with a girl that was not going to be in a relationship for much longer. But Jason, hold on. Sorry to interrupt. The other thing I'd like to calmly point out too is, and you guys will vouch for this, is I have problems with like morality or whatever. And,
yes.
And so I'm not drinking. She is drinking.
Right.
She has a boyfriend, and she's not saying I want to do you, as Will's saying. It's putting it all on me to take advantage of this girl and to do this. And then when it's done, it's going to be on me the next day, and I'm going to beat myself up about that.
No.
And
You're wrong about that because she's the one with the boyfriend, not you.
Right.
And she's making that decision.
And she handed you the room key.
Yes.
Right. So
yes.
how are you taking advantage
Because
of it?
it takes two to do this, and it would be me doing
All right, let's move on. We got it. Steve doesn't want to sleep with this girl because she has a boyfriend and he wants to make her feel bad. Will, what's the last, Steve, real quick?
Yeah, just stay because you're right here. Because this is the one that blows my mind out of any of them. So Steve is dating a girl, I say way out of his league. Like,
I don't want to.
Beautiful girl.
I think Steve's a good-looking guy and he has a good job, but this girl is an 8 or a 9.
And all into the geeky shit that he loves, whatever, superheroes and zombies
and the cool
whatever.
movies, and I think some of the music they share.
Like, if you looked at it on paper, beautiful girl that likes geeky stuff, it's like a dream come true for this guy.
And she seemed to, at least to me, really like Steve.
And I'm only saying this because Steve gave us permission, but the reason that they initially broke up, my understanding is because Steve loves to play guitar.
Yeah.
And she wasn't into his guitar playing enough. She didn't appreciate his guitar playing.
She didn't appreciate you?
That is part of a reason. Yeah, that's one reason.
What would happen? You guys should be at your apartment and you bring out your acoustic guitar?
Yeah, and there'd be like a disgusted,
away.
there'd be a disgusted look on her face. Yeah.
Not this again.
He's like, I remember Steve was like, this always worked in college. Why doesn't this work in
high
the
school?
You already got the girl.
High school and college. It's a huge part of my life. Even like you said, I was in 2 weddings this summer where I played guitar in, and there were plenty of girls at those weddings that were impressed by that.
But I will say that I do not believe Steve broke up with her ultimately just because of the guitar, but he broke up with her for an equally gay reason. And I believe it's because you felt that you liked her more than she liked you.
No, that she wasn't super into me. She was into the idea of me and
but that's
into
you
dating
saying
me,
that.
but not me. Yeah,
but that's
there were signs, and I confronted her on the signs, and she could not deny those signs. So I ended it.
He needs a girl that likes me for me.
Exactly, not because I hang with
Phil
Leonardo.
in Pennsylvania, welcome to Back Office Radio.
You might want to look into him being maybe a little gay.
Well, these guys can tell you that I'm not gay because they've seen me.
I sort of believe you're not gay, but that's sort of going towards the gay side if you don't want to get it.
If you want to call nice gay, then yes, you're absolutely right.
Hey, Tommy from Malden remembers one of Steve's weird arguments on the air. Tommy, welcome back to Back Office Radio. This is Steve's arch enemy, by the way. People don't know.
No, he's not my. I love the guy.
Me too, Tommy. I love you.
No, this is so.
I love you, Tommy.
I really do. We buried the hatchet.
No one cares. What's the thing?
Yeah, quick.
I think he's a little gay, actually.
All right, great point, Tommy.
No, Tommy,
Thanks
come
as
on.
always.
You were bringing up a point.
Tommy's so great.
With the Cougars. I mean, he's probably never even been approached by a woman, never mind a cougar.
All right,
I mean,
so again,
this
guys,
was one of Steve's weird rap on the Howard Stern show where he doesn't like the term cougars.
Right, don't these things all go back to me just not sleeping with people that I'm not into?
But you were
is
into
that the most wrong thing? No, I'm not into old
all
ladies.
I wish we could just post a picture of the girl that Steve dumped because she didn't like his guitar.
I don't think we're ever going to.
By the way, like all my other girlfriends, how many girlfriends can I have that everybody goes is way out of your league? My other one for 3 years was way out of my league. How many do I get to date?
Just being honest, that last one was out of your league.
Okay.
Guys, I hope I hope the audience now feels that they know Steve Brandano a little bit better. Our goal was to shine a spotlight on Steve Brandano, our friend in the back office. And that's what we do here on Back Office Radio. Coming up after the break, I have a Fat Guy segment coming up, and we're going to talk to John Lieberman. There's a lot of sports stuff going on, a lot of stuff that involves Lieberman. We all know Lieberman from yesterday's show is a huge Orioles fan, and I believe he was at the Yankee game last night.
That could have been pretty.
We'll be talking to him. Of course, we have Page 69 and a lot more things coming up on Back Office Radio, only on Howard 101.
You're listening to Back Office Radio with Will and Jason on Howard 101. It's just like the Howard Stern Show without the talent and personality. This is Back Office Radio with Will and Jason on Howard 101.
And welcome back to the show. That was fun. Steve just popped his head in here.
It's already getting ugly.
Yeah, you can tell. I think he's a little bummed out.
He's fired up. What are you going to do?
But it's funny because he said he's getting a lot of posts on Facebook now from women going, hey, we dig you. We like what you're saying.
No, I mean, it'll probably work to his advantage. Girls will think he's great, and guys will think he's a big homo.
But it won't work to his advantage because he's not going to take advantage of any girl ever in the history of the world. It'll be some reason, I can't sleep with a girl on Facebook. I can't sleep with a girl I barely know.
Right.
Hey, Steve, you want to have sex with me? No, you slut.
Ew. Or
it's gross.
He'll probably end up calling her mother and be like, you know what kind of daughter you raised?
Right. That's the next step.
Hey, so we have a Stern Show VIP, one of the most liked staffers here, except by Ronnie, and one of the most liked people, I think, in the Howard 100 universe.
Yeah, we got to set this up, though, real quick. So last night, Orioles-Yankees.
Yeah, good day to be a Yankee fan.
It was Game 4, correct?
Game 3.
Game 3, right. And Yankees are up. It was tied 1-1.
Yankees were down 2-1 going into the ninth.
Excuse me. I'm all over the place.
Yeah. They were down 2-1 going into the ninth inning with Jeter, Teixeira, and A-Rod to hit, I think, or something like that.
Well, I think there was one out. So, anyway, it doesn't matter. Here's what happened. Why don't you roll it for us? Oh, leave him into an Orioles.
The 1-0.
Swung on line to right. It is high. It is far. It is gone. He's done it again. Raul Ibanez.
And they tie the game.
2 outs away from a loss have tied the game at 2.
Well, what happened in the 12th inning?
Lefty to lefty. Mattis deals. Swung on and driven to deep right. It is high. It is far. It is gone. He's done it again. Raul Ibanez has put on one of the great playoff displays of hitting. He drills one in the right field seats to win the game.
I got chills.
And that's why I hate the Yankees.
Hey, thank you, by the way, to the Philadelphia Phillies for letting Ibanez go.
I can't tell you what a bum that guy was in Philadelphia last year. Just a total piece of garbage.
I understand we're already making his monument for Yankees Monument Park. He is now a true Yankee.
Good. Build your team around him. See how that works out. And by the way, not many teams have the luxury of putting a $30 million player on the bench.
Yeah, but the Yankees do.
Oh, anyway, back to our story. So, John Lieberman, who I think was wearing his mom jeans at the game last night.
And an Orioles
is
shirt.
a huge Orioles fan, and he was at the game last night, so we got to find out what happened.
Leby, what's up, brother?
Leby?
Well, I'll tell you what, boys, I know what my own personal hell is going to look like when I die. When I die, I envision exactly what I saw on the subway coming home from Yankee Stadium last night.
What, drunken Yankee fans?
That is a car packed with hundreds of Yankee fans.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the one guy with an Oriole jersey and jeans on in the car, and everybody's screaming, Raul, Raul, and they're banging the roof of the car at every single stop when the doors open. All of these people are just yelling, Raul, and then all the people in the corridors are echoing it, Raul, Raul. And I mean,
Raul.
That is what my personal hell is going to look like.
I love it. I love it, John. Welcome to hell. You're a brave guy for going to Yankee Stadium and watching the Orioles. Now, this is the first time the Orioles have been in the playoff in over a decade, I believe. And let's remember, Will, that the Yankee dynasty started with a Baltimore Oriole playoff game where young Danny Mayer took an out.
Jeffrey Mayer, I think, right?
Jeffrey Mayer took an out by Jeter and turned it into a home run, and therefore changing the destiny of both the Yankees and the Orioles to this day.
Yeah,
it's not pretty.
I mean, look, guys, it was a real rough night, and unfortunately, sometimes I do things that I don't fully think out. So going into the ninth inning, a bunch of people in my section started to leave. Literally, like 20 people started to leave. And so I tweeted, Yankee fans are already leaving because Jimmy Johnson's coming in to save the day or something like that.
By the way, just like Yankees fan to leave in the bottom of the ninth in a 2-1 game.
And a playoff game. Well, as someone who's been to Yankee playoff games before, and I don't think this is just a Yankee thing, but all of a sudden you go to these games and you're not sitting around the same Yankee fans you were sitting around in July. You're sitting around a bunch of people that are at their first baseball game of the year or corporate or whatever. But right, so Jimmy Johnson, New York boy, went to Endicott High School. What did he do? John Lieberman?
Yeah, well, look, the guy led the league in saves all year.
Yep.
He blew a save in the first game of the series, but then he came back in the second game and saved the game for the Orioles. And then, obviously, as you heard last night, he gave up the the home run to Raul, who buried it in the stands. And I mean, in the 12th inning, when Raul hit that home run, I felt all the blood rush out of my face, and I get up out of my seat because I couldn't even stand to look at the celebration. So I get up out of my seat, I turn around, I'm halfway in the corridor, and I realized I left my girlfriend at the seat.
Oh, classy guy.
So now it's a scene of people. I get so emotional because, I mean, it's going to sound hokey, but I cried when the Baltimore Colts left Baltimore. I was a young kid. It was in the dead of night with the Mayflower moving vans. The Colts left, and at that moment, it cemented me as an Oriole lover because I said, you know what? If the Colts are going to leave, then I still have the Orioles. And from that moment, I get really emotional about the team. And look, it was a rough night. I believe we're going to come back tonight strong. They bounced back all year, but
what's the series at, Nan?
It's 2-1 Yankees.
It's 2-1
Best
Yankees.
of 5.
Okay, right.
With 2 more games.
2 more
at
Yankee Stadium.
Oh yeah.
Right.
How do you like Yankee Stadium there, Johnny boy? What you eat?
Yankee Stadium's a nice.
Of course.
Yeah, you'll like that. I actually had some good Mexican. They had like a good chicken and rice thing, which was really good. They had some good
healthy.
Unique food there.
Did you get
So
I
it
like
was
the
good.
cheese fries.
Of course
I like
you
the
do.
nachos. I like the Johnny Rockets burgers, the Lobel steaks.
His pants are growing as you speak right now, John.
Jeez, and you didn't even mention the barbecue, that they have Jimmy's barbecue.
They have Jimmy's barbecue there now. They have, if you get the really nice seats, they have waiter service. I sat in the really, really nice seats one time, and they have just open bar of food for the entire game. I didn't even think I saw any baseball. I was just at the buffet line.
John, I was really hoping you would bring your kid with you just so he could experience that firsthand. You know, people
Losing.
throwing bottles at you.
Yeah, the agony. Everybody was really nice in the section, except there was one guy right across the aisle from me who kept giving me these dirty, dirty looks, like shut up.
That's just because you're Jewish.
But I purposely didn't scream a lot last night because I didn't want to lose my voice.
Well, where are you today?
So I didn't scream a lot. But this is real funny. Real quick, this guy comes up to me in the 6th inning, and he goes, all he does is walk up to me. He had a Yankees jersey on, and I was a little bit afraid what he was going to do. He walks up to me, he goes, "Fuck Ronnie," and he walks away.
We can all get behind that one, can't
Everyone
we?
gets
Smiles looking back.
Hey,
so.
Will, so, okay, I'm a Yankee fan. I'm ecstatic. John's a Baltimore fan. He's not as ecstatic. What other, JD's a Reds fan. They played last night. What
Yeah,
happened there?
this is the best. So the Reds are up 0-2, or 2-0, going back into Cincinnati. They've never won a home game at the Great American Ballpark.
Also a best-of-5 series, so it's 1 game away.
1 game away, and they are now tied 2-2. They lost again yesterday, 8-3. So, I mean, yeah, JD, it's like, he's
so close.
It's so funny because he's one of those guys that will just, pout for the next month if they lose this last game.
What?
Do you remember when we were at my house a couple years ago?
Yes.
And we were playing beer pong. JD decided to come over and watch Phillies Reds.
Yes. That was the birth of October?
Yeah, October. Roy Halladay throws a no-hitter against the Reds that night, and I am just like crotch in his face all night, like, "Fuck you, JD, your team sucks." He's just sitting there, just with a scowl on his face. He said, "Never again. I'll never watch a game with you again."
First of all, you beat JD and I 3 games in a row in beer pong before we sat.
Yeah,
and
it was
watched
the worst night ever for JD. He just owned on every level.
So JD's team is a loser. What do you think, Will? You're a resident sports guy. The Reds or whoever the Reds are playing?
Reds are playing the Giants. I honestly hope the Reds. I'd like to see that Reds team go. I hate the Giants. They beat up on the Phils and the other. What are we looking at? The other one, the Yankees,
Detroit's
Orioles.
playing-
I'd love to see the Orioles pull that out.
Yeah,
And
well,
I hate the Yankees.
Fuck you. And Detroit and the A's.
Detroit, I
was
think,
up
is going to win
2-0.
that series.
A's came back last night, and St. Louis and the Nationals.
Yeah, and they're down. I think the Cardinals are going to win that series too. What do you think, Johnny? You good?
I'm good. I'm just hoping the Orioles can pull out tonight and just force a Game 5. And, yeah, there's just so much good baseball going on. So
Who's pitching? Joe Saunders tonight?
Saunders, the lefty who actually won the game to get the Orioles into the playoffs against the Rangers. So, look, if he can go 6 innings, I think it'll be all right.
All right, well, good luck. We got Phil Hughes for the Yankees, and that's always a crapshoot. He could be amazing or he could be horrible. I don't know what Phil Hughes will be.
Exactly. Let's hope horrible. Well, I love the show, guys, and have a fun rest of the hour.
Thanks, John. John clearly exhausted from last night's game, not at work, I'm assuming. We're hearing him on the phone, so I don't know.
I can't believe fucking Raul Ibanez was the hero, too. I'm telling you.
Well,
bummed for the Phillies.
All season, I have to say, he's been the clutch guy on the Yankees. I mean, he's
I
always
know.
hitting a late home run. And
He's juicing.
And really, and I am a Joe Girardi fan before last night, but really, give Joe Girardi
give me a break.
That is not easy to bench A-Rod.
Yeah, that's not.
All right,
but
so
he
give
got
him his
lucky
due.
with it.
Lucky or not,
You know, you guys are so funny. It's like last year he tinkered too much. This year,
not me. I am a Joe Girardi fan. I like Joe Girardi. I like the moves he makes. I think he handles our bullpen brilliantly. And do I agree with every move he makes? No, but I thought that was great.
Yeah, enough sports. Let's get back to throwing people under that bus. No, not the horn, the bus. I don't know what the hell that is. That's the worst bus ever.
Well, it's not a bus, number one. It sounds like a truck.
It just sounds like your stomach growling.
Hey, Al, I'm hungry. Al, I'm hungry. My stomach is growling.
And now, the Fat Guy Minute.
It's a rug bumper.
I was making a joke about Will said that the bus.
We're not all on the same page yet. We're getting there, though.
In all fairness, we are still in Scott's studio, and I know Al is having he can't relax. It's like if all of a sudden you were used to. If I'm a typer, right? I type all the time, and all of a sudden I went to my keyboard and it was missing like half the keys, and I still had to type. That's what Al is dealing with right now. It's like a half a board. If you're not on radio, you don't know or understand or care. But trust me. We'll work the kinks out here.
If we're in the Fat Guy Minute, why don't we just do one real quick?
All right, we'll just do one. I brought in just some fat headlines. I thought there's some great fat news out there. Headline number 1: Man drives across the USA using only bacon as currency. This was something from Oscar.
What the hell does that even mean?
He traveled. All right, I'll read it. In a clever marketing move by Oscar Mayer, they put this guy, John Sansky, they put him in a trailer filled with piles and piles of bacon, and they're seeing if he could go coast to coast, trading bacon for services, trading bacon for places to live. And on their website, you can see what people have bartered.
What would you trade for like a pound of bacon, Jason?
I'd love to stay at my house for a pound of bacon.
That sweet jacket you have on?
No, not my jacket.
Oh, yeah, that thing's priceless.
Is this flavored bacon? Like
what are some of the benefits? What are some of the benefits of the jacket? Do you remember? I'm trying to remember.
That set is actually very comfortable. The inside is very soft. It's a lot lighter. The whole jacket is much lighter than it looks. It is. That's true. When I go outside, like you were just saying about the weather, like this is like the perfect weather. Like I don't have to go look for a jacket. I don't have to. This is just. So it's comfortable in that sense. And whether or not it's the truth, I think I look kind of good in it. So it's giving me some self-confidence. Call in at 888-3101 if you have a problem with my jacket. I agree with everything I said in my clip. Jason's a smart guy. I got another fat guy headline for you here. Meet America by artist Dominic Espicopo. He is an artist, and Will, I'm going to hand you stuff. He takes meat, he turns it into art, and then he cooks it and feeds it to his family. There's a piece of steak that looks like Texas. Here's a piece of steak that looks like Abraham Lincoln. Here's a piece of pork that looks like the letter L for some reason.
And his arteries look like the Hoover Dam.
Yep. So there's a guy that uses fresh beef to make art. What do you think of that?
He made letters out of ground beef. That's like a 5-year-old.
Yeah,
really talented.
I like that. I like that people are using meat, and he does eat the meat. And this last story came from Jim. Fat guy impersonates a cop to get free McDonald's. Genius movie. In St. Petersburg, Florida, authorities say.
We said one headline. What happened?
Oh, well,
he's on a roll.
I'm on a roll. Authorities in Florida say a man flashed a fake gun and a badge and demanded free fast food at a McDonald's drive-thru. I'm surprised it doesn't happen more often. I think it's great. It works way better than "Don't you know me from the Howard Stern show? Can I get something free?"
Does that work?
Never. Not once.
Surprising. Shocking.
Not once. So those are my fat guy. Will, those are my fat guy segments for the week. That's it.
All right.
I want the fat guy segment.
So what do we want to do now?
Let's take a call real quick. See how people are doing. We still got some Steve calls up here. Jeff in Texas. Welcome to Back Office Radio.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Hey now.
What's up, bro?
Hey, I hope it's okay. I wanted to go back to, I think it's Steve who wouldn't sleep with the girl at the wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the male version of a cock tease. He worked this girl all night.
Yep.
He knew she had a boyfriend.
Yep.
And if he wasn't going to sleep with her, and if he had a moral issue with it, he should have distanced himself right away.
That would have been the morally correct thing to do, sir. But Steve likes to live life on the edge. He likes to, get them in and then lecture them.
We also have some more nominees for Douche of the Week coming in, and then we're going to go to a break. Mark in Chicago. Real quick, who's your nominee for Douche of the Week? This person has not been mentioned yet.
I'm not allowed to
real quick before that, guys.
Wait, hold on a second, Mark.
Whoa.
Yeah, Steve is,
he's back again.
Now he's all fired up.
Wait, we're only allowed to dance with girls we're going to sleep with at weddings?
Well, you dance with her every day.
The writing was on the wall, sir.
And her ass.
There's nothing wrong with what according to her, we weren't going to hook up.
Why didn't you dance with a single girl?
Wrong? I did. I danced with plenty of girls there.
I'm sure there was those little bridemaids running around, or whatever they're called, with the flower girls.
Mm-hmm.
Dance with those girls.
I did.
That's cute.
I did. I danced with a lot of people.
Creep.
I don't know why they erased his name on the screen, but the dude from Chicago who wants to say Ronnie was a Douche of the Week? is...
Real quick.
Oh, there you go.
If you could tell JD to pull some tape of Shuley when he was in there, he sounded like Pee Wee Herman when he laughed and giggled all the time behind
Are you talking about the Ronnie laugh or the Shuley laugh?
No, Shuley, when he was in studio for that week. He sounds like Pee Wee Herman. Tell him to pull some tape. It's hilarious. But anyway, my douche of the week is Ronnie.
Right.
27-year-old girlfriend, doesn't want to marry him. Who else is going to lick his old balls? I mean, come on, seriously.
You'd be surprised. That's the worst part of the story. Like, if Ronnie did dump Stephanie, there's like girls lining up for him. It's the saddest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Well, that and I don't know what's more sad.
A lot of broken people out there.
Girls lining up for Ronnie. Girls just randomly going into JD's room and fucking him when he's on the road, which he, admits to. Or Steve, getting so many hot girls that he could just toss them away when they don't appreciate his guitar playing.
This show does miracles for ugly people. I'll tell you that.
It is crazy.
Not to say that those guys are ugly. They're very handsome people, and I don't want to offend any people. I don't want that horn coming out on me. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Coming up next on the show, everyone's favorite segments. We have Page 69. We have some new Page 69s that are really, I think one of these are going to make huge news at least. And our overlooked news story of the week, we are underreported really this week. It's all coming up in the next break on Back Office Radio, only on Howard 101.
This is Back Office Radio with Will and Jason on Howard 101. Because our budget is that small. This is Back Office Radio with Will and Jason on Howard 101.
Oh, you guys have no idea. Welcome back to Back Office Radio. I am Jason. Sitting right next to me is Will Murray. Give us a call, 888-STERN-101. Will, we've been getting some great tweets about the show. I'll just read some of them real quick. This is from B. Slammin on Twitter. Seriously awesome radio.
That's my girl.
Yeah, you guys have knocked it out of the park. I'm handing you over my room key. That's me. I think she's talking to me.
I will take you up on the offer, unlike Steve Brandano.
This one's directed at JD. What a crybaby. Wow, I have a fat guy as my boss. And here's a tweet from JD who writes, after the insult JD for an hour, listen to the new John Hein TV show today at 2 p.m. on Howard 101. Yeah, JD, it's a 2-hour show, not 1 hour show. Right. So it's 2 hours of insulting.
JD doesn't strike me as a guy that watches a lot of TV. It's weird.
He watches it very fast. Huh? He actually watches a lot of TV. He just watches it on fast forward.
Yes.
So, of course, his opinion is very, very valid when talking about a television show. Here's one. Steve is crazy. I'll fuck your girlfriend, wife, and mother. If she's hot enough, tell Steve he's nuts. That's from @ugly511. Let's see here. The show, this is from Dan, DBL1216. The show is brilliant. Again, this Brandano story was priceless. I guarantee Howard picks up on it on Monday.
I hope so, because it is a good one. That's a great one.
Steve, leave the fantasy football league or stop being such a pussy. Friends or not, they don't have to do shit. Man up.
Wow.
Here's another one from RB137. Jason is the man, but seems like he's bullying JD. And the last one I'll read right now at kinder_surprise. Brandano is the fucking douche of the year. Let's not forget that by the end of the show, we will be naming our douche of the week. We have our nominees out there. Will nominated me. I nominated JD. Teddy nominated Will. And we've been getting some great nominees on the phone. I also want to remind the audience that you are in.
You are now in a Lisa G free zone.
That is right, Lisa is not going to be mentioned on the show, and I saw some tweets saying you guys are being pussies. How are you kowtowing to keeping Lisa off the show?
All right, I'll say some shit about Lisa. I don't give a fuck. Lisa, I'm going to... Lisa...
I happen to be of the opinion that not being on the show is going to bother Lisa much more than being a part of the show. Jimmy, calling from the Sirius bathroom. Welcome to Back Office Radio. Are you really at Sirius, or are you just being funny?
I'm at the bathroom right now. I'm at the Kiss Town Hall.
Oh, Kiss is doing a town hall here at Sirius. All right, what's going on, Jimmy?
I saw JD. I said hello to him, and he just gave me a look and just kept on walking with that big head of his.
Yeah, because he's an asshole. That's the way he rolls. And you know what?
Was this in the bathroom, by the way? Did you see his pecker?
No, I was in the lobby.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
Yeah, he's not nice to the fans. I see it when I bring tours by.
Stop it. He's a nice guy. He's scared. He's shy.
He is a nice guy.
He's shy.
Be honest. If you're showing someone around and you show him JD, does he...
Well, he knows I'm just going to be an asshole, so he goes out of his way not to pay attention.
Yeah, he somehow knows. Okay, let's do Page 69, and there are some big stories here.
Page 69.
All right, Will?
That's it? I thought we had a whole build-up to the whole thing.
Yeah,
all right, I only have just two quick overheards in the office. Overheard number one, this week, Tim Sabian, again, surprise, surprise. Guys, anyone seen my iPhone? I swear to God, I think he's lost his brand new iPhone again.
No.
He was just going around, Gary, you see my iPhone? Asked John. So He might be on, what, iPhone number 6 at this point?
Jimmy, you usually get sent to go buy him an iPhone when he loses it. Did he lose it?
No, he had temporarily misplaced
Where
it.
was it?
I think it was in his office. I think he had just put under some pieces of paper in his office.
Poor Timmy, man. I'm telling you. You saw him this week drinking hot chocolate, right? And eating cookies.
Yeah, I did, Tim. It was in the middle of the office. It wasn't
He's
just
getting
me.
big, man.
There's two other people mentioned as well.
He had a flannel shirt on the other day that didn't look like it stands a chance.
I like hot chocolate. I do. I mean,
Yeah, I know. It shows. Believe me.
Yeah, well, what am I going to do? Knock him for having hot chocolate? What else?
One more overheard, and this was a little more disturbing. Jason going through naked pictures of Richard Christie and saying, wow, you have a really nice cock.
Yeah.
Care to defend that one, Jason? Holy shit.
Busted. It's not really so much defending as explaining. Yes?
I believe when he was taking those pictures, he was also posing Richard so that he could get a better shot of his cock.
No. We were going through, I was putting together a Richard Christie gallery for something, and I had all these naked, when you type in Richard Christie on my computer, all the pictures come up, and I would say a solid 40% of them are naked.
Yeah.
And he's standing right behind me, and I'm looking at the pictures, and he's got his flaccid penis is hanging down, and Howard had just made fun of him this morning for having a small penis, and look, his flaccid penis is bigger than my penis, so I was just saying, I don't know why Howard's shitting on your penis. It looks pretty fucking big to me.
Welcome to the High Pitch Mike Show.
Speaking of, High Pitch Mike, what's up?
Hey.
Have you seen Richard's penis in pictures?
No, I've seen it here and there, like at home when we're hanging out and stuff.
But it's in your mouth.
Not in the pictures. No, I just wanted to inform you guys. You're talking about JD and how he's so anti the show. I walked by just to say hi, as the guy in the bathroom did.
Yeah.
Totally brushes me off, puts his hand up, and says, shh. So, obviously, he's hanging on every word of the show.
Hanging on every word and giving you the backhand. That's like a lovely guy.
In JD's defense, he probably thought you were talking to the wall. It's sometimes hard to tell.
If JD's been rude to you, call 888-STERN-101. Has he ever blown you off or been rude?
Let me tell Mike, they were talking about me, and I wanted to hear what they were saying. That is all. Thank you.
What about the guy at the bathroom?
Wait, real quick. You're red.
I didn't know. I don't know the guy. I said hello, and I walked by. What am I supposed to do? They were there for the kiss thing.
You didn't say hi.
Yes, I did.
I'm the host. Did you stop stealing the mic from him?
I said
Jerk
hello.
off.
I don't get it.
I should be stealing his
Hold
mic.
on, Michael.
No, I don't want to stay that long. I don't want to stay that long.
Hey, Jamie, isn't it true that I told you have bad breath and you should clean it?
Listen.
Now thank him.
Thank
him immediately.
You're welcome.
If someone weren't such a power-hungry, attention-needing douchebag
just leave it hungry.
now, maybe I would still be their friend, and maybe you should be thanking me for giving you all this material for your back office show and this and that and your fat guy show. I was your first guest. That's all I have to say.
Good point. Maybe you should thank him.
I like JD, and I had to thank him for being my first guest on the show, and I like to thank him for making me look good in front of Howard, because the more he keeps bringing this up, Howard just keeps saying I'm right. So keep it up, Jamie.
Angry guy today.
Angry. Woo. If you've ever seen an angry JD, if JD's ever blown you off anywhere, please give us a call. 888-STERN-101.
It's close to lunchtime. Maybe
we'd
that's
love
the
to
issue.
hear from you. All right, so Will, I have a page 69 that I'm almost reluctant to do.
No, this is an awesome one.
But here's the deal. It involves Gary. And it involves throwing Gary majorly under the bus. So far under the bus, I don't even want to play that bus clip we have. And honestly, if I thought that Howard would never find out about this, I wouldn't do the story. But there's no way Howard is not going to find out about this, because I'm going to have to tell him Monday morning. And here is the story. So every day, Howard sends an email to me, or emails to me. The subject line is just print.
Right.
And it's just notes he wants in the morning. So it could be an article that interests him. Half the time, it's just random thoughts. They don't even make sense to me. It's not for me to question or try and figure out. It's just, okay.
They're reminders to him.
They're his notes.
Right.
He sends them to me, and he knows that every morning when he comes in, I'm going to have them printed and waiting for him. So Monday at before the show started, about 5:45, Gary comes to me with an email. And it's from Howard to Gary, and the subject heading is print. And Gary says to me, I think Howard meant to give this to you. And he sent it to me by accident. And I take the email, and it's a note that Howard wrote saying, talk about Jason bad-mouthing Gary having John Hein on his Nerdish show.
Okay.
So I said, all right, let me give it to him. And the guy goes, no, I'll give it to him. I want to explain it to him. I said, all right, whatever. I trust Gary. It sat there on Gary's pile all day Monday. Never gave it to Howard. On Tuesday, that email sat on Gary's pile all day. And around 8:30, I said something to him like, hey, are you going to give this to Howard? I think this is his note. He wants it. And guy goes, I just haven't had time. I just haven't had time to give it to him yet. Okay. Wednesday, the note sat on Gary's pile all through the show. And he saw me looking at it. He goes, I just haven't had the time yet. Just haven't had the time yet.
Oh.
Wednesday after the show, he comes to me. He hands me the note. Now the show's over. Howard's gone. And he goes, I just couldn't find the time this week to give it to Howard. Put it in his notes next Monday. Now, Gary, I'm not going to just slip it in Howard's notes, because if Howard sees it and he remembers that he should have had that last week, I'm not going to have him yell at me about why didn't I have the note last week. So Monday morning, I'm going to have to tell Howard, hey man, I think you meant to send me this note. Sorry, it's a week late, but Gary held on to it. So either way, I'm going to have to tell Gary Howard Monday morning. So I'm telling him now, I'm telling the world now, Gary, Will, is there any other way to interpret it? Try to keep that note from Howard?
I love it. It's unbelievable. and the best thing is, I've been racking my brain all week trying to remember what Gary was talking about during the commercial breaks, because there are definitely times when he just yammers on, and he says he was so busy that he had no time to give him that note. We might even have to go back and pull the audio from the commercial breaks to see what Gary exactly had to say to Howard that was so important.
Yeah.
The other point is,
we should have done that. Fuck.
That he was outraged that you talked about John Hein being on his Nerdist show. So he was very sensitive about it.
Yes.
Because he didn't want Howard goofing on it.
No, and the note was about him, which is probably why Howard accidentally wrote his name. I've ddone that before, by the way. I sent a note bad mouthing David Height right to David Height. It happens. Yeah, and I got to give David Height credit. He let it roll off his back, or he's keeping it buried deep down inside. But one way or the other, he didn't make a big deal about it.
Gary's going to deny this. He's going to say, "Oh no, I literally just didn't have time to give you that. Give you that note, Howard." But it's bullshit.
Well, let me show you how I would have handled it. Okay. Hey, Howard, I think you meant to send Jason this note. Well, you sent it to me instead.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
No problem. But instead, it was more like, I was at Jackson's football game up in Syracuse. I don't know. I'm just guessing that's one of the things he thought about.
Listen, we love Gary. And he is Gary. Professional through and through.
Most of the time.
Except when Jason has to talk to him about it. But this is bad.
That's a double.
I think you're going to, just when you thought the assault had stopped from Howard, I think it's right back on.
By Wednesday, when he had not handed that email over, I was in shock, and I kind of wanted to say something at that point, because I didn't somehow want to be accused of protecting Gary.
Yep.
But Gary's my boss, and I love him, and if he said he's going to give it to Howard, I trust him to give it to Howard. It was craziness.
I feel your pain, brother.
And
That's
Gary
a bad
has, and Will, you've seen this. Gary has a stack that he brings into the studio to talk about, and he has it in the order of stuff he wants to talk about, and he would get to that email, and he move it to the bottom of the stack, and then go to It was very, very.
Oh, he would
weird.
physically move it to the bottom.
Yeah, I saw.
So
him
he
do
was
it.
going out. So he was clearly going out of his way not to give it to Howard.
He will say that the other stuff was more important.
But who is he to make that decision? That is Howard's decision.
That's
unbelievable.
Preaching to the choir here. Kara in Vegas, welcome to Back Office Radio.
Hey, is it me?
Yeah, Kara. Are you Kara in Vegas?
No, I'm Angie in Vegas. What's up, guys?
Andrea in Vegas, no problem.
Hey, I did want to talk about Gary because he was my nominee for Douche of the Week. Why do you guys think he didn't wear the sports jacket to the photo shoot with Howard? Do you think he was trying to say F you to Howard in a way?
I don't know what Gary's deal was. Listening to it on the show, Howard didn't sound like Howard ever forcefully said put on the sports coat. It sounded like Howard suggested it, and Gary just said, no, I don't feel like it, and that was it. I mean, I don't know. But if I had the week Gary had with the whooping cough and everything else, I think I would have put on the stupid jacket.
I tell you, I don't know if we're going to have time to get into it this week, but man, that photo shoot was interesting.
It was interesting. It was interesting on so many levels.
Gary sitting back there posing
like he's important.
His legs were spread. Oh, like he was in, centerfold for Hustler or something.
Everybody go to howardstern.com. A little bit later this afternoon, before Back Office Radio, I went in Gary's office with Sal, and I recreated the photo shoot with Gary, with Sal playing Gary.
That's great.
And so we got some great images we're going to put up on howardstern.com later today. And Howard's got this whole cool way of speaking when he takes photos. Like, he turns into like, you know how Howard a lot of times say, like, a lot of industry people have speak, he made fun of Mike Ganji for saying hard out or something like that. And but Howard has all these further pictures. He kept saying, like, Gary, look, like, he'd take a picture and he'd go, powerful. That's powerful. Powerful. And then he'd go, great. Like, it was
Gary's
very
face
weird.
is powerful. That doesn't necessarily mean good, but.
So anyway, page 69, Gary keeps a note from Howard for a week.
That's a good one, man. That's on air content for Monday.
Coming up after this break, we'll announce the Douche of the Week winner. Maybe we'll try and get Teddy back on the phone, even though I don't think we will. And we'll briefly go over the overlooked news story of the week, your calls, and more, only on Back Office Radio on Howard 101.
You're listening to Back Office Radio with Will and Jason on Howard 101. Been cough-free since 2012. This is Back Office Radio with Will and Jason on Howard 101.
We're in the final segment here of Back Office Radio, and again on Twitter, we're getting some good, we're getting some bad. Teddy took a hit here. This one Twitter guy says Teddy is radio poison. Radio
I
poison.
agree.
You actually thought it, when I read that during the commercial break, you thought I said radio pointless, which you also
I like
liked.
that too. Both apply.
Here's somebody who doesn't like us. Jake Atkinson says, Back Office Radio is terrible. Can't wait for Howard Stern to critique this train wreck. I should have known better to listen than to listen. Okay, well, we'll find out what happens on Monday. I have a feeling Howard might be paying more attention to Gary and some other people.
Yeah, I think Howard's actually going to like this show.
But here's a nice one. Back Office is radio perfection. Thank you. And I'd rather listen to 5 hours of Jackie than 5 minutes of Jason Kaplan's voice.
I get that.
I get that, too. Although I would like to see someone, I think that would be an interesting social experiment, watch someone listening to 5 hours of Jackie. I've seen what it's done to Jim over the years. He
was a young man when he came in.
Yeah,
overboard.
He was married. He was full of life.
Hold on, real quick about Lisa G. He almost looks as old as that news. Never mind.
No, we're in a Lisa G free zone here, Will.
Excuse me.
We're in a Lisa G free zone. All right, we're going to do an underreported news story right now. Joel in Wisconsin has a good idea of what. You're close, Joel. What do you think our underreported story should be?
Well, first off, dude, this show is awesome.
Thank you, my man.
Thank you.
The most underreported thing, and I don't know if I caught it last week. I caught most of the show last week, but what happened with Scott? And I think it was Yom Kippur, wasn't it? That he took off, and was it Lieberman or somebody was going to do a report on it, and I didn't hear anything after that. Scott took off. It's hard to bust a guy's balls for taking off for a religious holiday, even when it's for bullshit
I think the bottom
reasons.
line was he took off, but it was more pressure from the old wifey than any kind of religious reason.
Right. I don't know. Well, okay, let's get to our underreported news story. So there was a story, something happened this week. The news did a story on it, and we feel that it hasn't been harped on enough. I'll hit it.
And now, the most overlooked Howard 100 News story of the week.
Howard 100 News on the scene.
What's going to go in these boxes, Scott?
All the junk that's in here, even the equipment, because it's not worth the fucking dollar it was bought for.
And where are the boxes going to be stored?
I don't know. I think I got more important things to do than fucking straighten out a studio. I'm not a cleaner. I'm an audio engineer, so I don't know what the fuck's going on.
When Scott came face to face with Mr. Sabian on the wrap-up show, Scott told Tim he didn't know exactly what Tim expected of him in terms of cleaning and to fire him if he didn't like his work performance. What happens now, Scott?
He gets fired, I think.
No comment. No comment.
You're not challenging Tim to fire
Jason
you.
piping in.
No comment.
Will you get it all cleaned up now?
What?
The studio.
What studio? You know, when people can get mad from a person that says no comment, that's for you to determine that.
Well said.
We will keep you updated on Scott's cleaning progress. John Lieberman, Howard 100 News.
Excellent report, John Lieberman. So there's two parts to that news story. Let's talk about the cleaning part first, and then the yelling at Tim second.
I really don't even think that story was that underreported, but it's definitely hasn't been harped on enough.
Right, because it's a huge story. So, all right, first of all, Tim last week after the debacle where we couldn't even start our show on time because the studio wasn't, ready to go and it was a mess in here. So the engineers came up. They were having a hard time walking around and finding things. Tim asked Scott to clean the studio, and to Scott's credit, today the studio is clean.
It's pretty clean.
It's
It looks good in
clean in here. But then on the wrap-up show on Wednesday, and I'm sure Howard will play the audio hopefully on Monday.
He should,
because he didn't get a chance to this Wednesday. But on the wrap-up show, Scott, the engineer, exploded at Tim Sabian, called him a power-hungry monster. I know I'm paraphrasing, but I think that's roughly
And Tim didn't even come in and really yell at him.
No,
Scott just went off.
Yeah. And he started screaming for Tim to fire him. He's like, go ahead, fire me. Go ahead, fire me. Scott is out of his fucking mind.
He really is. I mean, that guy has been on thin ice forever around here. I know that he'll be angry we even said that.
No, Scott, you've been on thin ice since before we got here.
But it doesn't even matter. Let's say you're not on thin ice. Tim is your boss.
Right.
Tim is your boss.
Right.
So if he tells you to clean the studio, you do what he says. Like, he just thinks because he's been here for 20, 25 years that he can do whatever he wants. And it's ridiculous.
I have two theories on Scott. One is that exactly what you said. One is that he doesn't care if he's going to get fired. That's one theory.
I don't believe that because what if Tim did call his bluff and said, all right, get the fuck out of here. Make like your hair and disappear.
I have a feeling, and I can't prove this. I don't know anything. No one said anything, but, I've worked with Scott for 12 years now. I just feel that he feels he can't be fired because Howard's protecting him.
Absolutely.
And, that was great at K-Rock when, like, say, Tom Chiasano would try and get me to do something that I know Howard didn't want me to do. And, I'd say, Howard, should I do this? I go around, Tom was technically my boss, but hey, I'm a Howard guy. But that's different than Scott just walking all over Tim Sabean, the program director here, because he might feel that there's no way Tim could fire him because Howard's got his back.
I'm speechless, as you can tell.
Right.
I look at a guy like Al Ragone that's doing our board today, and I talked to you about this off the other day. He has more talent, more production talent in his left ball than Scott has in his entire, dopey, shiny, bald head.
And it's not just the talent. 'Cause at the end of the day, Scott's a decent engineer when it comes to cutting up tape.
Okay.
And that's it. But Al has a passion for the job.
He's amazing.
He's proactive.
Yeah.
He comes to us with ideas. Hey, maybe it'll be cool to do it like this, or let me do it for you like that. Never complains.
Right. So if you see that going on, maybe you say to yourself, hey, I need to step up my game a little bit. And if I'm not going to do that, maybe I should do everything my boss says to keep him happy so he doesn't throw my ass out of here. He does none of those things.
Does none of it. And I guarantee you Al cost a fraction of what Scott costs. I happen to know exactly what Scott makes because he told me. Because he's always complaining about what he makes or doesn't make. So Al, what are you talking about? Can we talk about what you make? Are you happy with what you make? Can you make more?
No comment.
Do you make more? Do you wish you made Scott Salem money?
I don't know what Scott Salem money is, so.
Well, figure it's like 12
Careful.
figures.
12 figures. Yeah, remember he asked for like $1 million when he came up with the series? For all that talent. Yeah,
anyway,
well worth it.
So let's not let that fall away. I know we have some guests coming up next week that are great, but let's not let Scott get away with this. Howard, I hope you played the clip. I'm dying to hear it. I hope this fight continues because
we're dead to Scott now, by the way. I don't know if
think
we'll
so?
be allowed back in the studio. Oh, yeah. He's like super sensitive about the show
He's
already.
super sensitive about everything.
He was yelling at Teddy all last week for naming him douche of the week. Like anyone really gives a shit.
Yeah. Nobody cares but Scott. Well, he's got this weird fucking respect thing going on, but, where he feels that people don't respect him. But when he actually works and hands you a piece of tape, you're like, thank you.
Yeah.
And when he does it, it's like, fuck you, asshole.
I like Scott. I get along with him on a personal level. But, dude, I mean, everyone here is working really hard now, and it's time to step it up. And if you're not going to step it up, at least, keep a low profile.
Bill in Pennsylvania, welcome to Back Office Radio.
Yes, sir. I got a question. I heard the rumor that Greenspan's getting fired. Does that have anything to do with the offices getting cleaned out?
Who?
Greenspan?
Greenspan? Alan Greenspan is getting fired? Oh, no.
I think Alan Greenspan has not been the leader of the Fed in like 10 years. I don't know what that guy's talking about.
Yeah.
Evan in Indiana.
We don't have much time here, too.
Oh, all right. One last call. Evan in Indiana, you're the last caller on Back Office Radio, and then we'll announce the douche of the week.
Okay, the two biggest mysteries in the Stern Show, one of them is what Scott Salem do a couple months ago that you guys weren't supposed to talk about that we'll talk about.
Oh, man, we try and say everything out here on the air, but if we already said we can't talk about it, nothing's changed. So nothing has changed. All right, listen, that caller's the fucking douche of the week. God damn it. All right, let's announce the douche of the week. Teddy nominated Will Murray.
Yes.
I nominated J.D. Harmeyer. You nominated Jason Kaplan. Who will be
douche of the week?
Will you announce it?
Well, we talked about this during the break, and our feeling was I'm certainly not douche of the week because I'm perfect. JD has gotten killed today, so we'll leave him alone.
Yeah, not piling on that.
And going from the phone callers and from my judgment and the rest of everybody here, Jason Kaplan is
douche of the week.
Well, never say we're not equal opportunity offenders here. On only our second show, we name one of us douche of the week, the winner. So I am now going to call your higher ups over the weekend and bitch about you.
No. I don't want the horn for your comments too. Oh no. Wait, I want to say a few things, but Jason's a big fat fuck. I'm getting.
I think someone agrees with you, Jared in lots of Pennsylvania calls. Jared in Pennsylvania, welcome to Back Office Radio.
Yeah, you're lucky that JD doesn't whoop your ass. I just beat your ass. That's what I would do.
Yeah, you beat my ass for what?
For being a dickhead.
Yeah. Well, I guess you never encountered dickheads in your life, and or you're getting in fights all the time. Well, we got.
Are you ever worried, by the way, that literally you're going to be at a bar sometime and some guy's just going to punch you in the face like Snooki?
If somebody was going to punch me because they don't like me from the radio.
Yeah.
They are the biggest fucking loser
Oh, yeah, I really
on the
hope
face
that
of the
doesn't
earth.
happen.
Yeah, I mean, like, no, I don't fear it, but if it happened, that's just way more about the other person than it says about me.
Plus, you'd probably be rich after that, so.
Oh, yeah, I would sue. Make no mistake about it. Let me put it out. I would sue. I'm Jewish. I'll sue your fucking ass off. What do you got going on this weekend?
I'm actually getting fitted for a kilt.
What?
Yeah, my sister's getting married next year, and I'm going to
Congratulations.
wear a kilt to the wedding. I think my father was actually disappointed that I didn't wear one to mine. Thank God I didn't, because I'm sure Howard would have killed me for that one.
When you think of the stereotypical Scottish lass, it is your sister, Kate. And this should be a very fun wedding.
Yeah, yeah. And one other thing I want to say real quick. In the past, I've made fun of people for having pets and then they die. And our cat, Morgan, died over last weekend. We had to put her down, and it was kind of sudden. And it really bummed me out. I was very upset about it. More upset than I thought. You know, I'd probably be laughing at myself. So, R.I.P. Morgan. We love you, and we'll miss you.
And Will, you told me you hope my dog died so that my Korean wife would cook it in a soup.
Well, that does sound appetizing.
Well,
Jason?
you know, regret is always too late. Unfortunately, I saw you just virtually ignore Morgan your entire life.
No, that's not true.
No. Well, I'm glad you understand the pain of losing a pet. I'm going out with young Derek Simon tonight to dinner. You know, Derek used to be an intern here. I'm taking him.
What the hell are you doing with him?
I like him, and he's off working now, so we're going to get some dinner and catch up and all that good stuff. Anyway, thank you. Another great episode of Back Office Radio on Howard 101. Even though Lisa G doesn't want it, we will be back next week, Thursday, 12 p.m. with more radio. We'll have a great weekend.
You
Al,
too, buddy.
Jim McClure, thank you. Tim Sabian, thank you. You're listening to Back Office Radio only on Howard 101.